Boys and girls, listen again. This is for grown-looking girls who's home set, the ones who watch videos and do what they see as cute as can be. Up in the club with fake ID. Careful before you meet a man with HIV. You can host a TV like Oprah Winfrey. Whatever you decide, be careful, some may be rapists, so act your age, don't pretend to be older than you are. Give yourself time to grow. You thinking he can give you wealth, but so young boys, you can use a lot of help. You thinking life's all about smoking ice. Be my age and can't bring this fight. Begging different women for a place to sleep at night. Smart boys turn them in and do whatever they wish. If you believe you can achieve, say it like this: I know I can be what I wanna be. If I work hard at it, I'll be where I wanna be. Before we came to this country, kings and queens, never porch monkeys. There was Cook on Kush, Timbuktu, where every race came to taught Greeks and Romans, Asian Arabs, when gold was converted to money, it all changed. Money then became empowerment. Conveyed if they heard about the gold, the teachings and everything sacred. Africa was almost robbed naked. Slavery was money, so they began enslavement. Egypt was the place in Alexander the Great. Shot up their nose to impose what basically still goes on today. You see, they learn to survive until they gain control. Nobody said you have to be gangsters. Read more, learn more, change the globe. Ghetto children, head up little man, young princess when you get your wedding ring. Demand to sing, she's my queen. I know I can be what I wanna be. If I work hard at it, I'll be where I wanna be. Save the music, y'all. Save the music, y'all. Let's dance and start. Let's dance for a while. Having go away, we're only watching the skies, hoping for the best. Hey, boys and girls, listen up. You can be anything in the world, and God we trust. An architect, doctor, maybe an actress, but nothing comes easy. It takes much practice. Like I met a woman who's becoming a star. She was very beautiful, leaving people in awe. Singing songs, Lena Horne, but the younger version hung with the wrong person. Got a stronger that sniffing up drugs, all in the nose. Could have died so young, now looks ugly and old. No fun, cause now when she reaches for hugs, people hold their breath, cause she smells of corrosion and death. Watch the company cause they came to do drugs and you came to stay. So you wanna be the best, I'ma tell you how. Put your hands in the air and take the vow. I know I can. What I wanna be. If I work hard at it, I'll be where I wanna be. younger version, hung with the wrong person, got a strong on that. Sniffing up drugs, all in the nose. Could have died so young, now looks ugly and old. No fun. Reaches for hugs, people hold their breath. Cause we smell for promotion and death. Watch the company you keep and the crowd you bring. Cause they came to do drugs and you came to sing. Wanna be the best? I'ma tell you how. Put your hands in the air and take the vow. I know I can be what I wanna be. If I work hard at it, I'll be where I wanna be. Beat boys and girls, listen again. This is for grown-looking girls who's only 10. The ones who watch videos and do what they see as cute as can be. Up in the club with fake ID. Careful before you meet a man with HIV. You can host the TV like Oprah Winfrey. Whatever you decide, be careful. Some envy, rapists, or act your age. Don't pretend to be older than you are. Give yourself time to grow. You're thinking he can give you wealth, but so young boys, you can use a lot of help, you know. You're thinking life's all about smoking weed and ice. You don't want to be my age and can't read and write. Begging different women for a place to sleep at night. Smart boys turn them in and do whatever they wish. If you believe you can achieve, say it like this. I know I can be what I want to be. If I work hard at it, I'll be where I want to be. I know I can be what I want to be. What I want to be. If I work hard at it, if I work hard at it, I'll be where I want to be. I'll be where I want to be. Before we came to this country, kings and queens, never porch monkeys. There was empires in Africa called Kush, Timbuktu, where every race came to get books to learn from black teachers who taught Greeks and Romans, Asian Arabs, and gave them gold when gold was converted to money. It all changed. Money then became empowerment for Europeans. The military invaded. They heard about the gold, the teachings, and everything sacred. Africa was almost wild vacant. Slavery was money, so they began making slave ships. Egypt was the place that Alexander the Great went. He beat doctors with mountains with black faces. Shot up their nose to impose what basically still goes on today. You see, if the truth is told, the youth can grow. The learners alive until they gain control. Nobody says you have to be gangsters. Read more, learn more, change the globe. Ghetto children, do your thing. Hold your head up, little man, you're a king. Young princess, when you get your wedding ring, your man is sing, she's my queen. I know I can be what I wanna be. If I work hard at it, I'll be where I wanna be.
What's good, y'all? Let's move. Make sure y'all check out my video live. Keep it locked to celebrate Black History Month.
But nothing comes easy. It takes much practice. Like I met a woman who's becoming a star. She was very beautiful, singing songs Lena Horne, but the younger version hung with the wrong person. Got her strung on that sniffing up drugs, all in the nose. Could have died so young, now looks ugly and no fun. Cause now when she reaches for hugs, people hold their breath. Cause he smells of free. Wanna be the best? I'ma tell you how. Put your hands in the air and take the bow. I know I can be what I wanna be. I work hard and I'll be where I wanna be. Boys and girls, listen again. This is for grown-looking girls who's only 10. The ones who watch videos and do what they say is cute as can be. Up in the club with fake ID. Before you leave a man with stop, be careful, some may be rapists, so act your age, don't pretend to be older than you are. Give yourself time to grow. You thinking we can give you wealth, but so young boys, you can use a lot of help, you know. You thinking life's all about
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. We're going to get started. Thank you so much for attending the Scholar Network's virtual Black History Month celebration. This year, we are highlighting the legacy of historically Black colleges and universities. During the month of February, the Scholar Network has met with students across the country to talk about the importance of HBCUs in the college application process. The Scholar Network is a nonprofit organization that is founded by myself and Anthony Doman, with the goal to help at-risk students through creative programming and events. Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to get started. Thank you so much for attending the Scholar Network's virtual Black History Month celebration. The legacy of historically Black colleges and universities. All right. Today we have an esteemed panel representing 7 different historically Black colleges and universities. We are so glad that you all are spending your Saturday afternoon with us. Please relax, enjoy, and have fun. Before I get started, I wanted to take a moment to address a few housekeeping items. First, thank you to our sponsors, the Mentorship Tomorrow's Leaders, or MTO, CBUS HBCU ambassadors, Broward County Schools, and Columbus City Schools, who all contributed to make this event a success. Secondly, feel free to use the Q&A section in the chat to submit questions to the panel. Questions will be answered in the order that they are received after we go through the pre-submitted questions. This event is being live streamed on our YouTube channel and our website in order to reach a broader audience, so please keep that in mind. So about our panelists, Anthony Doman is a political science major, English and African American Studies minor, currently attending Howard University from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. After graduation, Anthony will attend law school and become a federal prosecutor and eventually a judge. Bailey Williams is a junior criminal justice with a paralegal certificate and pre-law minor, currently attending Bethune-Cookman University. She's from Columbus, Ohio, and after graduation, Bailey plans to attend law school and become a federal prosecutor. Lovey Afi Green is an intervention specialist major from Columbus, Ohio, currently attending Central State University. In the future, Lovey plans to become a special education educator. Markel Kelly is a sophomore international studies and Portuguese language minor, currently attending Morehouse College from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. In the future, Markel plans to become a United States ambassador for a Portuguese-speaking country. Janae Tallison is a junior mass communications major with a concentration in media leadership, and a minor in Africana studies, currently attending Tennessee State University from Columbus, Ohio. After graduation, Janae plans to become a television director, producer, and showrunner. Then Janae plans to transition to become a media executive and work in a creative development with aspirations to become the first African-American female CEO of a streaming service. Rashard Branch is a junior criminal justice Criminal Justice Police Academy track major, currently attending Edward Waters College from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And after graduation, Rashard plans to become a police officer or probation officer. Last but not least is Mr. Tristan Napoleon. Tristan is a junior public relations major with a minor in business administration, currently attending Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. After graduation, Tristan plans to become a traveling PR executive. And I am Brittany Stewart. I'm a junior political science major, history minor from Columbus, Ohio. After graduation, I will enroll in a history doctoral program and become a professor. And I will also be your hostess this afternoon. Thank you all to our panelists for attending today's event. We are so grateful that you sacrificed your time to share your insight and experience with us. And with that, we will get started. The first question, this is to all of you. How did you decide to attend your HBCU?
I can go. So hello, everyone. I'm Janae Tylerson. I attend the illustrious Tennessee State University. And pretty much I picked my HBCU because I went on a college tour. In the 8th grade, I was the youngest person on the college tour. Everybody else like a junior year in high school. I was in the 8th grade. My mom thought it would just be good for me to go see a bunch of different schools. So I went on a college tour. We visited Clark Atlanta. We visited Talladega, and then we eventually went to TSU. And TSU was really the only school that I liked. Oprah is an alumna of my university, and I wanted to be a mass comm major. So I knew that like if Oprah went here and she's as great, then I can do the same thing too. And like I always visit TSU. I visited TSU like 3 times before I even got accepted. I just knew I was coming here. So that's kind of how I figured out my HBCU. I had the major I wanted, the person, my biggest inspiration went here, and I just fell in love with the campus when I stepped on it.
I can go next. So, long story short, because it's a very long story how I chose Bethune-Cookman University. In January, I just started researching schools really, and every time I looked at another school, like something was missing. I'm like, oh no. So then one night, I literally just decided to look up Bethune-Cookman University. I looked it up, and every time I started clicking each section, the more I just started loving it. So I wasn't accepted yet. My mom and grandma, they were cussing me out. They're like, it's January, you don't know where you're going. You haven't got accepted yet. You're probably not going to get accepted because your ACT score is low. Like, I mean, they went off on me. So I was at my grandma's house, and we got home. So my mom just happened to go through the mail, and there goes my Bethune-Cookman acceptance letter. So we just kind of thought it was a sign to, for me to go there. So we actually planned this last minute trip. And we actually went and visited Bethune-Cookman University. So while we were touring, I just found about Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune, and I never heard of her. Like my whole life, all we learned about was Dr. Martin Luther King. So I'm like, dang, like why I learn about this lady, this African American woman who's in the White House just killing stuff. So so I was like, I want to go here to number one, be under Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune's legacy, and also just learn more about her as a student.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lovey Afi Green. I'm a student at Central State University, which is located in Wilberforce, Ohio. I'm in Columbus, Ohio. I decided to go to Central State after transferring from North Carolina A&T State University. So I am a transfer student. I chose North Carolina A&T first because my mother went to that university, so I would have been a legacy student, but I decided to transfer to be closer to home. So I wanted to go to a HBCU to finish off my degree. That was really important to me. I did not want to go to a predominantly white institution, which is a PWI. So I decided to transfer so that I could go to one of the two, it's only 2 HBCUs in Ohio. One of the 2 HBCUs in Central State. It was the only HBCU in Ohio that had my major. So I decided to come home and finish off my degree here in Ohio.
Hey everybody, so I'm gonna go on next. My story is a little different. Going to predominantly Black high school, I did not know what a HBCU was. Shame on me, I know. But with Mentoring Tomorrow's Leaders, which was a club that I was in high school as well, we went on a college tour and we visited a couple of the colleges that are in Florida. And when I got to Bethune, you know what I'm saying? No shade to Bethune, but I love Bethune, but Bethune wasn't for me until, I seen I was like, wow, like I know for some people they don't want to go somewhere where it reminds them of home, but it was like fam for me, it was like, okay, I feel comfortable here. You know what I'm saying? So rather life or no life, you know what I'm saying?
That's a great answer, which actually brings us to our next question. You mentioned that you fell in love with the campus when you got there. So what would you say is your favorite thing about your HBCU? Lesser known things or things that people may not be familiar with that are really special to your college campus?
That's specifically for me or for everybody?
For you, and then anyone else who wants to chime in, because I'm sure there are things that everyone loves about the campus.
Got you. I know for me, it was definitely coming on campus and experiencing orientation for the first time and seeing how and this was pre-COVID era. So back in 2018, when I first came to FAMU, seeing how lively the campus was and how even though sorry, everybody was from a different county or from out of state, you know what I'm saying? And people are saying, rep your city and stuff like that. And it's like you have people who aren't from Florida who don't know the culture, but who still want to be a part of it and be involved and actually try to learn, along with everybody else who's already from here. You know what I'm saying? So it was just an atmosphere where everybody, could get together and really be a family. So that's what I fell in love with, the family aspect of FAMU, because it's definitely there and the spirit is definitely there. Even today, you know what I'm saying, going through COVID and everything like that, we still try to find a way stay in contact with each other and be there for one another as students.
So I'll go next. I have a pretty interesting HBCU story. I was actually supposed to go to FAMU after I graduated from Plantation High School, but after serving a year abroad, I found out about Morehouse College and that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. went to Morehouse College, and I felt that I would be more the best fit at Morehouse College rather than FAMU. Nothing against FAMU, love the school, but I feel like Morehouse fit exactly where I wanted to be and where I wanted to go in my career goals. And Morehouse, one thing that's interesting about that is an all-male school, which we get a lot of heat for sometimes, but I feel like that's a positive because Morehouse is the only HBCU that's preparing men for this dog-eat-dog world. So that's a good thing for me.
I can go next. So one thing I guess I really loved about Tennessee State campus-wise was our student center. It's like very blue, white, tiger-ish. I don't know. Like if you've been to TSU, we're like big blue tigers and everything. So it was just so beautiful seeing the blue, the tigers. They have pictures everywhere of the band, people in SGA, and it's just so visually appeasing. And then when it's nice outside, like we're called the land of golden sunshine. So when it's nice outside, like the sun sets on the campus and the campus just looks illuminated. It looks so beautiful, especially, it just looks very nice. Like if you ever go to our website and see pictures, like the campus during the daytime when it's not like snowy or raining, it's just a good sight to see. So I would definitely say just our student center and some of the little landmarks and big buildings we have outside make our campus really, really pretty.
That's lovely, Janae. Would anyone else like to answer? Anthony, you've been awful quiet over there. And so have you, Mr. Branch.
So my HBCU experience was a bit different. I can say everybody's was a bit different, but I don't know. I originally didn't know where I was going up until like May. So that was like the deadline date, like literally on the deadline, I decided to go to Howard. But even before that, I assumed I was going to go to FAMU, and they didn't accept me, and I was like, "Dang, that's crazy about y'all." But I got deferred to the summer semester and the summer semester before, and I felt like that was going to be a bit more complicated, being that I didn't have no job in Tallahassee, and I didn't know how I was going to navigate that, and I had to kind of come up with my own tuition. and that was real hard. And then on my mom's birthday, I just got my acceptance letter to Howard, and I was like, oh, okay. So like I appreciate FAMU and I appreciate my boys at FAMU, but I was like, okay, you know, the Mecca wants me, so I'm gonna go out to the Mecca, you know what I'm saying? But it was really interesting how the tournament events happened, but I didn't really determine until I was going there until the day that the actual registration fee was due, because I wasn't sure, because it was pick and choose, go out of state, stay in state, and it was real complicated. But yeah, that's mostly mine.
Can I say something real quick about Bethune? So I love just the HBCU culture here, and I also love like our traditions here. So you know, we definitely have band, homecoming. Our homecoming's okay. It's not really all that great. It's not like FAMU or A&T, honestly, but I like it. We're small, so whatever. Also love classic when we beat FAMU. Um, but think like other than the HBCU culture, I just love our traditions here. Like for orientation, we actually had like a freshman walk where they take us to where actually Bethune-Cookman started. And I mean, obviously it's just grass now, but you know, it was like a building. It was basically a trash dump because she did buy our school $1.50. So I love that. Also, she was like a very Christian woman. So every before every meeting, every event, we pray in, we pray out. We also don't, for our sophomore year, we have a Rite of Sankofa where we basically celebrate our half point. So it's kind of like just encouraging, like you're almost there, so keep going. And yeah.
I want to say something about Central. I unfortunately transferred during COVID times, so it was very hard for me to get adjusted to the campus and not have, and it's a big difference. A&T is a very big school, and Central State is in the middle of nowhere. But it allowed me to be focused. It allowed me to be very determined in my goals. And one thing I will say about Central is the support that I have at Central is unmatched. Like my professors are there for me. My professors are willing to work with me. They are accessible almost every single day. And I love that I'm able to have that opportunity to really work on myself and work on my craft as an educator, because that's something that we all need, is that support. And sometimes I don't know about other HBCUs, but I know that I've heard from friends at PWIs that they don't get that support like we do at a HBCU. They don't have that small class ratio. They don't have that, okay, if my teacher need to feed me because she know I haven't eaten because the cat food is nasty, they don't have that support. Some of their teachers don't even know them by their first name. They know them by number. So I know that HBCUs are great for being that support system. As long as you find your person, it's a great support system for you as a student.
My HBCU experience was different because I didn't even plan on going to college. I was going to enlist into the Navy. Edward Waters College came and found me. They watched my football film and they offered me a scholarship. Originally, I wasn't going to accept it. I was just moving to the military, but I was going to be the first college student my mother ever had. So I was like, okay, I'm going to try this college thing. It turned out to be the best decision I ever made. You know, I'm able to travel and play football at different colleges for free. Like I played against Central State, I played against Morehouse. So, you know, it's a great experience at Edwards College. It's a small college. I enjoy the small college because it feels like HBCU. I know I wasn't going to get that anywhere else. So that's why I came to Edwards College.
Okay, great. That's actually a very good segue into our next question. What advice do you have for students who aren't sure how to pick a major or pick a university? I guess we can start with Rashard because we're the last person to talk, and then you all can decide how you'd like to answer from there.
Honestly, I chose my major because of the injustice that goes on in the world. Mm-hmm. A lot of people say, oh, we don't like the police, we hate the police. But it isn't going to be a change if African American males and females don't get into that field of work. So I feel like if I want to make a change, why not start myself? Why not become a police officer? Why not do it? I can help another man instead of saying, oh, after police or whatever. So I feel like whatever a person's comfortable with, that should be their major. So it all depends on their cause.
I would say when it comes to picking your major, think about what you could do for free every single day. Like, what could you do? Or what are you so passionate about that if you did not get paid for this, would you still do it? And for me, I like to talk. Like, I need a job to where I can talk and get paid for talking. I talk too much, then I get paid for this. So, like, I like to talk. I like to create stuff. I like to help people. I like to like influence minds and everything. And I do that like just because, just like that's just who I am. And finding a field that I can get paid for it is amazing. So really thinking about what you love. If you are really good at tutoring people, you may want to become a teacher. If you always arguing, maybe you want to become a lawyer. If you are really good with your hands, maybe you could do construction. Like really think about your talents and what you could literally do for free every single day. And then just find a career that you can monetize off of that. And then when you're picking a school, first of all, don't pick a school that does not have your major. I don't care how much you like the school. I don't care if they band is 5. If you don't play an instrument and that you want to be a nurse and they don't got nursing, don't go there. Like you trying to do health sciences and now you're mad. So really like pick a, like, and now you're upset. So like literally like pick a school that has what you want. And then all those other beautiful qualities will come after that, because you come to school to get a degree. It don't matter about any other thing that that school has. If they don't have your major, then don't go. So one, find a school that has your major. Make sure it can also help, like the curriculum is strong enough so that way if you want to go to grad school, you can go to grad school and be competitive and learn a lot. Make sure they have internship opportunities for you. Make sure the professors like have really been in whatever field you're trying to go to, that they have connections so that way they can help you with that process as well. So it's a lot to think about, but really think about one, what you could do for free every single day. If that school has that, if the program is really competitive, that will really help you in your future. And if your professors are willing to help you as well. So think about all of those things before you pick a major and or a university.
I would also like to say there is 101 HBCUs, so pick one, number one. I will also say definitely like start early, like when it comes to visiting schools. So like for example, so my brother actually graduated from A&T. He went there when I was a freshman in college, so I used to go to A&T all the time. I wanted to be different from my brother, so I didn't go there. But we did visit like other HBCUs in North Carolina. So like I also visited North Carolina Central University. I knew I didn't want to go there because the school was big and they had heels. Bailey don't walk on heels. I'm not walking heels in that hot. So I was like, oh, I need to go to a small school. So then I dwindled it down to just small schools. So definitely like just when you're visiting schools, even like when you're visiting PWIs, like just figure out like what don't you want in a school. And if they have what you don't want, then throw it out. When it comes to picking your major, just I will say like do like what you're inspired by. So I'm not gonna lie, back in high school, I used to watch all the little crime shows and I was like, oh, I want to do something like that. I know, please y'all don't do that. So I knew like I just wanted to do something like just in that field, like criminal justice. So I knew I wanted to either do criminal justice or criminology. But Bethune-Cookman doesn't have criminology, so I just went with criminal justice. Also, pick a region where you want to go. Like I'm not gonna lie, I wanted to go to school up north. But then when my brother was at A&T, it used to snow like 1 inch, like it used to be like 1 inch of snow and they used to cancel class. I was like, oh, wait a minute, I'm going down south. So definitely like pick a region, pick a HBCU, and just pick like what you're inspired by.
I'm gonna follow up by saying, because nobody else said this, but there is absolutely nothing wrong with being undecided when you first come to college. And the reason for that is simply because, okay, like you don't know what you want to do yet. And that's cool. You know what I'm saying? Get your prerequisites out the way and, things of that nature, so that when you reach probably the end of your sophomore year going into your junior year and you do decide to pick a major, that's when your major, you know what I'm saying, gets serious, because you're taking all those core classes. So there's nothing wrong with being undecided again, but don't take too long in discovering what it is that you actually want to do for life after your HBCU experience, because that is very important. And then, of course, once you go into your senior year and, you know, you're considering grad and where you want to go, like my good friend Bethune said, pick your region. You know what I'm saying? Because some people decide to go to another college for grad. You know what I'm saying? So definitely know what you want to do, because I know for me, although I was introduced as a PR major, I did not start out that way. I was very much a business administration major wholeheartedly. But however, I decided to kind of narrow down my pathway and chose public relations because one, I feel like you know, pretty decent when it comes to communication. Two, I do speak more than two languages. So using that in my field will, you know, kind of help me out. And that's money. First of all, people who speak other languages, that's where the money's at, for real. I don't know about everybody else on this panel, but me traveling, speaking other languages and working for companies overseas and marketing and doing all of that, that's where the money resides. So get with it.
I would say pay attention and demand for money from schools. So, like when you're deciding where to go, look at how much money a school is going to give you, because there is nothing wrong with going where a place that you love, but there's also nothing wrong being in a place that you're comfortable. And going to an HBCU, some schools, some people are like, I don't want to go to an HBCU because they're not going to give me no money. No, they don't give you money on that initial letter, but when you call financial aid and you find who the person who's the head of financial aid, and this is coming from, we all have experienced this, where you have to call Miss Nancy. I know you know who this is. It's Miss Lovey. I'm calling for the 5th time this month because you said you would find me a scholarship. It is important to really push, especially when you figure out, like, okay, these are my top 3 schools. I know I have a certain GPA. I know I have a certain ACT score. I've done this much volunteer work. Is there work study? Is there scholarships? Is there outside scholarships that you guys do with like people? Because some departments have partnerships with people who give scholarships. So always look out for that money. I was money hungry when I was in school, and I raised $25,000 for my first year of school because I said I want to go to A&T. I know it costs $32,000 for me to go to school. They're not giving me this much money, and I want my first semester to be paid for. So I raised as much money as possible for me to be at school and be comfortable. But after that, I had to figure out, well, dang, where am I about to get this money from? Now I just found out from my mom. From my mom is in a teaching organization, a teacher Ohio Education Association, which is a teaching organization. And I found out that I can go to school for free at Central. I found this out literally yesterday. So I'm looking, you got to look for all these different ways to save money to make sure that you can be comfortable while you're in school, because that's the worst thing to worry about when you're learning.
Yeah, just to build off what my brothers and sisters said, it's okay to go into, you know, your first year of college undecided. Let that freshman experience kind of form you and shape you into the direction you want to go. That's why we have gen eds that we have to take, even though I don't like them. That's why they're there, so you can really see exactly where you want to go with your career path.
That is an excellent, excellent point, Marika. Thank you. Our next question is, cohabitating with other students in dorms is an experience that many incoming freshmen worry about. What was your experience like living in the dorms, and what advice do you have for students who are worrying about adapting to this new environment? We can start with, we'll start with Lovey, because I love Lovey.
Well, I had 2 experiences at 2 colleges in the dorm. So I'm like I told you, I'm a transfer student. So I'm going to tell you my experience at A&T and my experience at Central. My experience at A&T was good because I was in a learning community, which allowed me to stay in one of the best dorms on campus, real central area, right beside 5-minute walk. You know, that walk between where you live and where you have to go to classes can be difficult sometimes. So that was a great experience. I met a lot of girls who had similar goals as me, so that was great. But then there was all the other people that may have not gone to my school, but they were at school. You experience those folks. There's people who you don't necessarily get along with that can affect your dorm experience. So I'm just going to say that and leave it at that because I have some stories and we can talk privately if somebody want to talk to me. But it's sometimes people can be crazy, and you have to really discern yourself and keep yourself in a space that you are safe, so that you don't feel uncomfortable in your space. I'm all about comfortability. So when I went to Central State, I was like, okay, I need to be somewhere in a dorm that I know that I'm comfortable, that I know that I won't be disrupted by other people, and I know that I'll be safe. Um, I was put. I'm 21 years old, but I was put in a freshman dorm because that's where they put transfer students too. I told them, y'all got to put me somewhere else because I'm at the maturity level that I cannot handle 17 and 18-year-old children. Well, they're not children, young adults. I'm not gonna call them kids, but young adults. But that mentality, we're not on the same level. So I got moved into a RA dorm, and that helped a lot because the maturity level was the same. We were basically doing the same thing, trying to get out of school. So I eventually had a good experience, but I had to really advocate for myself so that I was put in a place that was meant for me.
I can go ahead because, yeah. So my freshman year, I stayed in the nicest dorm, the newest dorms, because, yeah, I paid that little extra $200. Yeah, because I wasn't staying. Like, no, it wasn't happening. So I stayed there. My freshman roommate, I absolutely loved her. Like, she was real cool. She was a little older than me, but like we were still cool. Her cousin used to come over all the time. Like, it was just real mutual. Like, we were really cool. So she wasn't coming back, so we weren't roommates. So in my sophomore year, I got this girl. I could not stand her. Like, oh my, I could not stand her at all. Like, she didn't know her boundaries. She kept touching my stuff. Y'all don't do this, but I used to be real petty. So like, she touched my fan one time, and I unplugged it. So next time she tried to use it, it didn't turn on. I used to she used to be touching my cords, so I turned off. So when I would left the class, I literally put my chargers in the bucket. Like, no, don't touch my stuff. Don't do that. Please, like, talk to your room. Like, if you're having a problem, talk to your roommates, please, because again, it's not that serious. Like me, I'm petty. I don't care. So, and I wasn't talking to her because again, I did not like her. Um, I'll definitely say, like, if you're having roommate problems, like, talk to them and be nice, please. But if it's still not resolved, you do have RAs, which are like kind of just student people in charge of like the dorms. So if it doesn't do that, just escalate to the RA. If stuff don't happen, then escalate to, the housing department, and they'll take care of you and they'll look out for you.
Just to follow up with what Bailey just said, and her roommate situation, coming to FAMU right off the bat, my situation was not the best, I'm gonna say, but what made it bearable was the fact that I was able to communicate. You know what I'm saying? Even though we were complete opposites, I was clean, he wasn't that much clean, but you know what I'm saying? Like, the communication was what kept me from going to my RAs and being like, oh, John was doing such and such and he's touching my stuff and this, that, and the third. No. You know what I'm saying? Like, using words and communication is key to everything. And just touching off of LLCs, I know when I first came to FAM, that was summer of 2018. So that was that first roommate experience. And then the fall came and I was moved into the Villages, which was one of the nicer, newer dorms at the time. But, we got better stuff now. But that experience with the Village Business LLC, I will say, if you go to any of these other HBCUs and you find that they have an LLC, take that opportunity. The reason why I say that is because I'm pretty sure I'm not sure if it's the same or kind of the same at the other HBCUs, but when you're in an LLC and you live in a common area with everybody else who's in your major, and you go to the same classes as those people in your same major, you know what I'm saying? So when it comes to class and having to do assignments, you know what I'm saying? You're going to class with these same people so you can find help, especially if y'all live in the same area, you can find help from those people who go to class with you every day. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the great advantages of a living learning community. That's what they call it in LLC. So definitely reach out to your housing directors if they offer LLCs, because that's where you want to be, especially in your freshman experience. An LLC will take you far and you will secure that 4.0. Promise.
In my opinion, I'm gonna just follow what y'all said, but in my opinion, I like my roommates. I'll say this though, honestly, there are some roommates that you may not feel like are they don't some people don't keep the same standards as you, but I think this is anywhere, any college you go, like in terms of like cleaning standards or other things like that. So you just have to be wary of that when you have a roommate, because you never know, like this person may have not grown up with the same home training as you may have grown up with. But in general, all my roommates were really cool. My roommates ended up being some like the coolest people. Um, I know some of them are, my last roommate is probably one of my closest friends at Howard. So um um overall, I mean, like they said, if you have like any issues with like your freshman year or anything, especially your freshman year, don't be afraid to communicate that with your RA, because your RAs are there to help you. They're there. They will crack down on anything. They're like police officers in a sense. They'll crack down on anything they see that may be going on. But and even get cool with your RAs, because sometimes just you being having a good relationship with them leads for a lot of different opportunities in the future. Um, like you becoming an RA and securing that free housing, as a lot of y'all already know. But yeah, I like my roommates, that experience and everything like that, and it was real cool. So yeah.
So for me, I come from a family where I got a little brother, older sisters, got 7 brothers on my dad's side. So I'm used to being around people who are annoying and not annoying. So when I got my roommate, I'm not the one that gonna send an email to the house and contact the RA. We just gonna cuss each other out right now. So that's the type of relationship we had. I'm just gonna be honest. So if there is something we disagree with, we just hash it out right there. I say, Ari, I don't want to come, and your girlfriend's still here, and I just got off work. He'll say, Markel, I don't want to come, and your shoes right here. So that just having that type of communication, so you don't have to escalate to go to housing or go to anybody else. That's what I did.
That's funny for real. That's so funny. But I guess my roommates and housing things are different. So currently I stay in the campus apartments and I stay with my bond sister and one of my friends. So like apartment, you got your own room. Only thing we share is with the kitchen, the bathroom, the living room. So this is the best. This is chill, great environment. My roommates don't bother me. We get along great. Everything's peaches and cream. Last year, I stayed in the honors dorms. That's the nicest dorm on campus, and it was me and one other person. We had our own bathroom, and me and my roommate, we got along pretty good. So it was no beef, no weird vibes. My freshman year, we all got that one freshman dorm on our campus that they just kind of just put everybody in like slaves on the ship. Like that's where I was at. Like that's where I was at freshman year. I was in one of them, you know what I'm saying? And my first roommate was great, awesome. She was never there. So we got along great. And she made me cake once. Perfect, beautiful. My second roommate, we didn't get along the best. Like it got to a point where like we would both have our TVs on and we would both turn them up loud because we couldn't hear, and they would be having their TV on. I'm trying to watch my show. Yeah, it got that bad. But she left 2 weeks later because I wasn't dealing with her shenanigans. I could have been nicer about it, but I was petty and 18. So I wasn't where I'm at now in my Christian journey. Now I can communicate better, but 18-year-old me could not. And then my last roommate, she was really cool, but I had to get I had 3 roommates my freshman year. Like one roommate, my first one who I really liked, she left after homecoming. The second one came beginning of second semester, but she left after 2 weeks. And then my RA came to my room and said, well, if you don't have a roommate, you have to pay for the other half of the room. I'm like, I'm not paying for the other half of this under this ship that I'm in. No, that was no. I stay in Section 8 housing. I'm not, no. So then I found another girl who her roommate left too, and then we ended up deciding to become roommates. And we got along very well. She was really sweet, really cool, and we're still friends to this day. So yeah, it really just at some point it's about communication, just being grown. Like if you have a problem, just say that. If there's an issue, just talk it out because y'all both grown people and y'all have to live together at the end of the day. So just really building some type of mature, cohesive relationship with people that you live with is important. And luckily, outside of my second roommate, I haven't had any bad roommate situations, but I've seen roommate situations gone mad left. So really just communicate to each other, be respectful to one another. And if you can pick your roommate, you can do that. But I have known some situations where that doesn't work out. So it's really just about communication and trying to find somebody that is compatible to you. And be clean, because sometimes the dorms are dirty. So make sure you're extra clean. Extra clean.
That's extremely important. Thank you, Nay. Let's talk a bit about money management. There's a stereotype about college students that we are broke. How would you recommend that students budget money as well as make money while in college while keeping their grades a priority? We can start with Roshar.
I don't even know where to start, honestly. I've been broke plenty of times. I ain't gonna lie. I have been broke, like broke, for real. It's mostly like eating out though. Like, eating out is where you spend a lot of money. Make sure you not eating out as much. Try to savor the cat food, even though they don't make the best food. But now will break your pocket. And I was like, as y'all can see, I pledged. I had to have money for that too. Eating out and trying to do that at the same time. Something's got to give. You got to save your money. Don't try to eat out. Find a way to cook meals or find a cheaper alternative. But like McDonald's and Burger King, all that. Cool.
Oh, I'm sorry. I want to go next. So, I was fortunate enough for my mom to give me money. Like, she works, so like every paycheck, some of it goes into my account. So I was fortunate to have that. I'm not gonna lie, she gave me $250 like the first day, like when she left, and my freshman year, and I literally blew that in one weekend. I was like, oh man. And then make sure you get used to taking care of yourself. Like, I remember I went to Walmart and I bought a whole bunch of groceries. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to use my own card. Like, this is so ghetto. Oh my gosh. So definitely just learn how to balance your money, and also get a little side hustle. Like, everybody on this campus sells lashes. I swear every girl here sells lashes. Like, sell your lashes, pick up a talent, nails, something to really help your living, especially if you don't have like parents like me who doesn't give you money, obviously. And also learn how to say no. Like, because I know like my friends, they always like, hey Bailey, let's go to McDonald's, and then next thing you know, I got a whole 2 Big Macs, a drink. No, I got a smoothie, because them little $3 smoothies. Like, so I definitely say, like, learn to balance your money, learn to say no, because it's okay. You do not have to go out every day. Just go to the cafe. I know, listen, it might be a little nasty, but it's edible and it's gonna keep you full. So learn to say no. Yeah, that's all I have for that question.
I'm gonna go next. So Brittany said it was a stereotype. It's not. I'm broke currently, so it's not a stereotype. I'm very much broke. DB, send me money now if you could. Like, pass the offering plate to me. Like, poor right now. But and I'm still learning money management. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not. But I would say my freshman year, well, not my freshman year. My freshman year, I worked like that whole summer. So I was stacking money. Like, every week I would put like $200 away to save when I got to school. So when I came to school, I actually had some money, but I was highly irresponsible because I had no car, lifts, the lifts. Oh man, that's bad. Then you want to get Waffle House or Cookout afterwards. You gotta take the lift back. You gotta get into the party. That's $10. And they want to raise the price at the door. It's a lot, So all the money was just gone. But to be wise with your money, I would definitely say look into work study. I have a work study job, so that's what's been keeping me literally afloat since probably last year. This last semester I had a paid internship and work study. So if you can get a paid internship plus work study, you have some money coming in. Also, really get a side hustle. Everybody got a side hustle. If you could cut hair, if you can do nails, if you can do a silk press, girls love a silk press. If you can do a silk press with the wash included, girl, you gonna make some money. So like literally like find a side hustle, get work study. My parents also did send me money, but once I got 2 jobs, they said you're all right. So if you have parents that can give you money, even if it's $50 a month, like learn to budget that. Like, I used to live off $50 a month. I don't know how I did it. I'd be struggling with making like regular checks and surviving, but I used to survive off $50. And sometimes you have to have nothing to learn how to manage it when you have everything. So I would say once you get money too, like remember when you was broke that you probably couldn't even do all that. You know what I'm saying? Like my mindset, if I can't buy it twice, I cannot do it. So if you can't buy it twice on your last, then don't do it.
I would say, you want to go ahead, Tristan?
You can go ahead. I'll go after you.
Oh, okay. Um, I would say if you have family around the area, that's your new best friend. I will say that is your new best friend. I don't care if that's your third cousin twice removed on your uncle's side. That is your new best friend because if you need some food, honey, can I come over and get some food? Can I borrow $20? You can give me $20 just to set me for the month. Or I know that my cousins were very supportive with me while I was in school. They're still very supportive. One of my cousins is on the call. Hey Jessica. But they're very supportive. Having family members is really great. I retwist locks. You see, I have locks. I've been locking my hair for 6 years. My hairdresser taught me how to retwist locks so that when I went to school, I had a side hustle because she did not want me to be broke. So I had my side hustle. I was retwisting hair. I was making money off of that. So doing that is really important. What else is important? Just managing your stress when you manage your money too, because money can make you stress. So making sure that you are not putting yourself in a predicament that's going to make you stress about money is really important because you might be last year. You like Janae said, I lasted for $50 on a month. You got to make sure, okay, I know that I got this $50. Let me not be stressed about this $50. I know how to stress this $50. And that's going to help a lot because that helps us in the future when we have jobs, when we have to pay rent, when we have to pay bills, when we have to do utilities, all that kind of car insurance, all that kind of stuff. That preparation comes from what we're going through right now.
Yeah, and I'll follow up on that and say that's really true. Like I blew. If you don't want to manage your money, I'm gonna keep it a buck. You're gonna be broke. Like just that you're gonna be stranded if you don't know how to manage your money at all. Like if you don't know how to just have some self-control with your money, you're gonna be stuck like Chuck. Because my freshman year, I'll be honest, I was terrible at managing money. I blew I blew $1,000 in a week. I blew $1,000 in a week on nothing, and I have nothing to show for it. Like not a thing. Maybe a few shoes that I don't even wear anymore, but I have nothing to show for that. And honestly, that was like one of the worst mistakes I ever made because that money could have went towards food. It could even went towards my tuition. It could have went towards housing. But now I was a student. That was a on campus job. So like just learn how to manage your finances. It can be simple as just learning how to budget and just learning like what you have the money for and like following up with a few, like downloading a couple of apps and just finding out how much you're gonna make, how much you're not gonna make. That side hustle is real, and look for places like around your area. Like I went to Howard, but I didn't know a soul. I didn't know anybody. I couldn't even have tried to know anybody if I wanted to. So I had to just go out and look for the local stores and stuff like that and go inside to see if they were hiring, talk to different people and see if they was asking for or they're hiring. And just having to like Lovey said, talk to your family because your family may know somebody out there if you got family out there, or they may know somebody to get you a job, or they may let you stay in with them so you can save like a smooth, well for me, $9,000 on housing and let you stay in with them on a couch or something like that. And you may hurt for a little bit, you stand on the couch, but your pocket's gonna feel a lot better and it's gonna feel a lot lighter after the fact. So yeah.
I'm gonna follow that and say one thing that I wish somebody had stressed on me like heavily was learning how to budget, to invest while in college, because that's how you can be very self-sufficient. You know what I'm saying? Like, you might be broke because the stock market be playing sometimes, but at least you know that you'll be able to pull some cash, whenever you need it. So investing is very important. And another trick that I was taught You know what I'm saying? Of course, whenever you get paid, whenever you get a check, you always pay yourself first. That's a golden rule. Everybody should know that. But along with this golden rule, if you're treating yourself, you know what I'm saying, and you're handling everything else that you need to handle, more importantly, anything that is like for you, and you're treating yourself, so you want to go to a party or you need to buy clothes to go to that party, you know what I'm saying? Always make sure if you spending however much on whatever you need, that you go ahead and you put maybe $5, $10 or however much money you paid to match that and put it in a savings account so that you can hold yourself accountable. And then next time you look into that bank account, you can say, I don't got it, but it's there and I'm not going to touch it. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what you saved and you know that you'll need that sometime in the future. So yeah.
So I always say to all my friends and my brothers, sisters, that you choose to be broke. My freshman year, homecoming season, everybody going to the mall. I want an outfit for this day. I want an outfit for this day. I'm saying that I got something in the closet. I'm going with the stuff in the closet. I chose 2 events to go to for homecoming week. I said the rest of my days, I'm going to Kroger's. I'm going to work. Y'all can go have fun, faint, do whatever you want. I'm going to work. And that's how I did it. And I had a job and I had work study. Anytime I got a refund check, I would take a percentage of that refund check, pay back on my loans, and keep some in my savings account. So if you just think smart, I feel like you should be good. I mean, we all have different situations, but there's a lot of opportunities, especially at the HBCU, for you to have something in your pocket. If you know you did not need those pair of shoes, or you didn't want those pair of shoes when you had $2 and now you got $200, you still don't need those pair of shoes. You need to keep that $200 because you might break your laptop and now you can't go on Zoom for class and now you're crying. So you really gotta think ahead and be smart.
I feel like you're attacking me right now. Just FYI, with the homecoming, with the fits, with the shoes, you didn't have to come for me like that, because you could have just added me when you said that. But it's okay. We'll let you have it.
I was going to also say, when you do internships, especially paid internships, act like that internship is an unpaid internship. I challenge you to save that $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, and act like you. In reality, there's unpaid internships that you might have to do in order to build your repertoire. So act like that's an unpaid internship. Save that money and keep it in your savings account and save it as long as you can, because you never know what you might need that for. That's just a little. And also a 1098T form. I don't know if anybody else is familiar with this, but you can get some cash from a 1098T form. So anybody who's on here and they're going to school, and they're just any school, it's not just HBCUs, any school, when you call financial aid and you say, can you please mail me my 1098 form, you can save up to $2,000 and get that money back from school.
That is excellent advice. I didn't even know that. I'm going to say a bit that no one mentioned yet. Student discounts. Before I even reach for my card, no matter where I go, I'll be in like the grocery store and I'm like, oh, it's $17. I'm like, would you happen to have a student discount? And you'd be surprised how many establishments actually offer incentives for students online. Like I fly back and forth from DC to Columbus, where I'm from. And all the time I use this app called Student Universe that actually gives students discounts on flights. So what normally would have costed someone $200 to get home, for me was $68 round trip. So yes, ma'am. So that's what I use, and it saved me so many times. Another thing I would recommend is budgeting. Everyone touched on a little bit here. There's an app that I use called Mint, where I set spending limits for all the different categories that I use monthly. And if I start to get within a 5 limit range of that event, it'll send me a notification like, hey now, you're doing a bit much. And I'm like, oh, so that lets me know that I need to monitor my spending a bit. So I would recommend think about budgeting. Every semester that I've been in school, I've had a paid internship, every single one, because I didn't want to ask my parents for money, because I didn't want to be a burden or anything. And because the choice to be educated out of state was my personal decision, not theirs. So I wanted to make sure that I was being financially responsible of that. So I'd never called them for money. I always just made sure I had it. And similar to what Markel said, I only go to the free events at homecoming, and I already wear what I already have. And I'm naturally pretty, so I don't really need to do a whole bunch. So jeans and a t-shirt is good enough for me, and a Howard sweater. And I will go in the yard and take all of the free things that they're offering, all the t-shirts, all the food, all of the whatever. And I will literally come with a bag and leave with more than what I came with. So I'll recommend that you always, if they're offering something free for students, take it. Another thing I wanted to announce, another one of our panelists, Brianna Booker, she's now on. She's joining us from work. Welcome.
I am so sorry, y'all. I was on Texas time. We're an hour, yeah. But hey!
Brianna is a junior sociology major with a minor in African American studies. She's from Columbus, Ohio. She's currently attending Prairie View A&M University. And after graduation, Brianna will attend law school and become a civil rights attorney. Welcome, Brianna. My next question, we'll actually start with Brianna because she's new here. Let's talk about time management. What time management habits have you acquired since being in college? That's extremely important because we have to get our work done. So Brianna, we'll start with you.
So I think the main one is that I have to write things down. I think before coming to college, especially during high school, I was in a bunch of honors classes, but I never felt like I really had to work at timing, if that makes any sense. And maybe like some of the high schools can relate. But now I have a planner, so I have to literally write down everything. If I have something to do, I have to write it down. So I think that's a big thing with time management. I guess this is an example, y'all. But yeah, probably just writing things down. If your university uses a platform like Canvas or anything like that, you can turn on your notifications so that if an assignment is due, it like will text your phone. I think that's the biggest one.
I think something that helped me for time management, I'm gonna be honest, it's terrible at time management, still working on it, I'm gonna be honest, but time management is imperative for college, it's imperative for work, it's imperative for your life, especially when you start like securing internships and you start taking 15 credits at a time in high school classes and middle school classes are nothing like college classes, and you got 40 page papers due tomorrow and they assigned it yesterday. So like I'll tell you that time management skills, like they're so imperative. Like get yourself a planner, like get a planner and make that your best friend. Keep it on your side, on your person. I don't care if you go into a store, put it in your bag so you can make sure that you can pull it out anytime, like your phone. Like your phone is your best planner because you're always on it, like Brianna just said. So just make sure like you write everything down from when you go to the bathroom, from when you got to study, you do your work, go to work, do whatever.
So
Follow up by saying,
I just want to speak on the planner thing. Listen, I have two right here. Okay, so listen, I got this the small one. This go everywhere with me. Put in my book bag. This the desk one. So I have it on my desk to write down all my assignments. You see everybody laughing because you need to have two. And then that phone, that remind, baby, the alerts. I got stuff in my calendar because like one of my classes, we don't meet every single time we have class. We meet on certain days. So I have to write down, oh, we're meeting on this day. We're not meeting on Thursday. We're meeting on Tuesday. So like literally what you have to do, like I do everything in three. So I write it in my big planner, my small planner that I carry with me, and in my phone. Also, when I have to make a to-do list every single morning, like I write on these. This is my to-do list, like you can't really see it, but this is my to-do list for the day. So like I literally write everything down, like literally, like, and I write times too. One thing I've done, like if I wake up at 9, but I choose not to start my day till about 10:30, I'll write like, okay, 10:45 class, 11:10 another class, 12:35 study, like, you know what I'm saying? So like I do everything in times. So that's the best way to manage your time. And it gets really important when you get active on campus. Like I'm in SGA, I'm in an organization, I'm in honors college, like I'm in so much stuff. I do stuff outside of TSU and it gets really, really hectic. I have an internship right now, like everything gets really hectic. So you literally have to manage your time and create space for yourself too. Like don't, just because you free from 4 to 5 does not mean you need to do something from 4 to 5. Like take time to relax from 4 to 5. Like don't, like literally don't make every hour like a productive hour, like make yourself free, like, you know what I'm saying? But you literally have to like just time management is just key. Like you have to write everything down, and then you have to really just don't put too much on your plate as well, because that gets annoying and that gets stressful as well, because your time is important. So don't stress all the time.
I can go ahead and go next. So I'm in, I think, 8 organizations. I don't even know. Like I kind of lost count after like 5. But but I still maintain a 3.7. That's my cumulative GPA. So I mean, actually, I'm still to this day not good at time management. Cause I feel like I got a little ADHD. So like I'm just, like my brain's going like crazy. Like I'll be doing something, then like in the middle of doing something, like, oh, I gotta do this, and yeah. So I'll say when it comes to time management, figure out what works best for you. So like the planner thing, that did not work for me at all. I'm not committed like that. And I don't like wasting papers, to be honest with you. So that didn't work for me. So what I did, I got like a dry erase board calendar. So when that day is gone, just cross it out, keep it pushing. When the dates are all filled up, erase it and do it all over again. That's my time management skills. So yeah.
I would say,
you can go.
I was going to say, allocating your time, like Janae said, right when you want to do something. That's something new that I'm practicing. Is I write an assignment and I put an hour and a half or 2-hour block for me to do that assignment. But also, I also write in 3. So I have my whiteboard that I write everything and I can erase it. I have my calendar that I write everything and then I cross it out. And then I have my calendar for school. So like there is no excuse for me to forget an assignment because I've seen it in 3 different places. But I also allocated time for me to stop because I need to stop doing work it's between 10 and I gave myself a block between 10 and 12, but after 12 o'clock, it's given what it's going to give. that's all. It's given what it's going to give. So I make sure that I finish at a certain time so I don't get stressed, so that I'm not up till 2 o'clock in the morning giving half but work, not giving what I should give. And I also allocate time for me to talk to my teachers and communicate with my teachers. Hey, listen, I'm not doing too good this week. Is it possible for me to turn this assignment in late so that it can be better quality work? You know, I'm taking 5 classes. They're 3 credit hours. So I'm taking 15 credit hour classes and they're all hard. So can you work with me because this is what I'm going through right now? And luckily I have understanding teachers that really, they ask me, okay, so what's your schedule like for this week? They talk to me and ask me like, do you have a lot due this week? Do you have a lot due next week? So that they can know like, okay, Lovey might turn this assignment a day late or 2 days late. So yeah.
So for me, procrastination is my middle name. So even with the planners, I procrastinate about writing down the stuff I got to do. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna write that down tomorrow. I will never write it down. I have 6 planners that are completely empty. So I'm glad for y'all that y'all have the planner thing, but for me, it does not work. So for me, I think do not disturb on your phone is gonna become your best friend. There's a lot of people at Morehouse that are like, oh, Markel, let's talk. And I end up talking to them and I realized 3 hours then went by and I have nothing done. So do not disturb. Prayers to Jesus. And most importantly, I think I really can't even talk because I have like 6 papers that I still have not turned in, and they were due a week ago. So I really don't know what advice to give you. Just turn your phone off, and you just gotta understand that if you fail, you're gonna make your parents upset, and you're gonna lose a lot of money. You know, financial aid runs out after a certain amount of time. So just keep that in mind.
Markel said, just try. He said, I don't got no advice for y'all because I ain't turning my work, but just try.
Listen, at least he's not sugarcoating nothing, telling people what to do and he don't do it. At least, just pray about it.
And I think Lovey made a good point, especially about going to an HBCU. Your professors are willing to work with you, and that's a big thing about going to an HBCU is oftentimes they're smaller, so class sizes are smaller. So your professors have the time and will make time for you.
I know.
Like Markel made a good point as well.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah.
No, I'm the moderator. I shouldn't be talking. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Markel made a good point about that do not disturb. If y'all ever feel like there is not enough time in a day, there's 24 hours in a day. I promise when you make that schedule for the first time and you actually follow that schedule, like you got 8 a.m. class and it finishes at 9:15. After that, you're gonna go from 9:15 to 9:30. You're gonna find you something to eat all day. You're not gonna eat for 15 minutes, but you get the point. Make your schedule and actually try to stick to it and use that do not disturb, because when you follow your schedule and you get to the end of the day and you look back and you're like, wow, I actually had a busy day, as opposed to a day where you just didn't do anything and then you're saying, well, dang, I didn't do anything. I didn't get no work done. I have 6 pages that was due last week. It was due last week. You know what I'm saying? Like, things like that won't happen. You'll find that you actually did everything that you set out to do, and you'll feel better about it. You know what I'm saying? So time management is very important.
I will also say, like, really quickly, that your teachers will know if you're BSing. Like, I remember one time I turned this paper in, it was last minute. Cause okay, he makes the papers due at 6 o'clock. No, push it to 11:59, like the rest of these teachers. But no, he wants to make it due at 6 p.m. So I'm scrambling. And there was one part that was supposed to be a paragraph. It was a sentence. I turned it in. In the comments, he was like, what is this one sentence? We need to talk next class. So we talk next class. And he looking at me like, one sentence? I'm like, listen, you should have gave me that little extra 4 hours, the 11:59. So please just start your work early. Please start your work early.
To piggyback off of what Bailey said, I know I'm the moderator and I really shouldn't be giving my input, but this one, this is like the thing that I'm actually good at when it comes to college. I lie to myself about deadlines. So if it's due on the 15th, in my planner, I write that it's due the 12th. So then I end up turning it in, and oftentimes my professor will send it back with feedback. So she'll be like, this is good, but you could add this. So what do? I'll add whatever she suggested, and then it actually improves my score. So the original draft that I turned in, although I intended it to be the final draft, I got, like, say, an 85% on. But then after making the edits, I have 100% because I actually incorporated her ideas. And because I gave it to her before the deadline, I wasn't caught up with all the other students who submitted it at 11:59 or at 6 p.m. or whenever it was due. And it also avoids procrastination. I will say, in this pandemic that we've been dealing with, it's definitely taken a toll on my perception of time. So I have 2 planners, all the reminders on my phone, a productivity app, and then dry erase board thing. And some stuff still gets through. So, like, it still gets past me. But when I was on campus, I was a lot more disciplined because I'm naturally, like, more to myself. So I didn't have very many like conversations or things to distract me because I'm normally by myself. So I would just, like, get my work done and I'd be like, well, that was fun. I guess I'll just go to bed. And I guess. And my schedule was quite open, although I was involved in, like, student government and a lot of other things. I didn't have very many friends, and having a lot of friends, sometimes I've seen, like, from the few friends I do have who have a lot of friends, they take up time. Like, friends take time, like, they require your attention. So it's not that you shouldn't have friends, but you need to know how to manage your social life in order to be able to actively get your work done, which we're going to discuss a bit more later. Which I guess segues into our next question. How do you all balance work and play? We've all said a bit about, parties and having fun and how it can definitely be a distraction. So what is your advice for managing them both? Because nobody wants to go to a 4-year university and pay all this money and didn't have any fun. HBCUs are lots of fun. So how do you all manage them both?
Okay, so first off, I want to say I feel like Brittany was talking about me with the whole lot of friends and time thing. I feel a little attacked, right? Okay, I would say I feel like she was talking about me. So, but I will say I'm a social butterfly and I'm in organization, so I naturally have to be a social person. 1, for the position I'm in, and 2, just because that's kind of my natural state. And it's exhausting sometimes, I'm not even gonna lie. But it's a way to manage both. Like, for example, if there's a set on Friday, they done told me on Wednesday we having a set on Friday. I'm gonna make sure I do all my homework that's for that weekend or earlier in the week, so I can go to the set on Friday. Like that's what I do. Like, cause I refuse to go to a set. I'm sitting there like, dang, I did not do my homework, because I can't have fun. Cause I'm thinking about the work I did not do and everything. So like for my birthday was on Thursday. I had a homework assignment due on my birthday, one due on that next Monday, and one due on Tuesday. Birthday's on Thursday. So from Sunday through like Tuesday or Wednesday, I made sure every single homework assignment was done, because my birthday, I wasn't doing anything. And that weekend, I wasn't doing anything neither. So literally set up a reward system for yourself. That way you make sure you get your homework done and you can hang out too. Also, like, if you don't have your work done, don't go out. Like, I know people that come to the set, I ain't got my paper done, but I'm gonna turn up. Okay, now you're gonna be sad when you get an F on your paper because you want to go turn up at the set last night. So it's really just about like prioritizing like what's important, because you came to school for a degree. Parties is cool, sets is cool, homecoming is cool, like all stuff is cool, but you came in for a degree. So if your grades up to par, you ain't gonna be here long anyway to kick it, because you gonna get kicked out of school because your GPA was slow. So literally set up a reward system for yourself and just make sure you put first things first and do your work. Like, it's hard because I'm a procrastinator. It's my first name. That's my boy's middle name. That's my first name. So literally just do your work, and you can party, have fun, turn up, do whatever you want later. But make sure you keep first things first. You handle business on the back end.
I would also say, like, you don't have to go to every single event to be like active or to just have fun, period. Like, let's just be realistic. Like, you came to school for work. If you go to college, you gotta go to work. You gotta do homework. You gotta turn in assignments. So, please do those. Don't choose partying over that, because like my basketball coach said, female basketball coach said, don't make your homecoming be your homegoing. And that is so true. Like, yes, that's very true. So, because there's been people who like they went to homecoming, like you never seen them ever again. So definitely just balance, prioritize. I also reward myself as well. So like, again, like I told y'all, I'm in 8 orgs. 3 of them I'm actually active in. So I do my homework and I turn it in, and then like what really keeps me going is do my homework. I'm like, okay, when I finish this assignment, I can work on my org stuff, because I love working on org stuff. So I finish my assignment, I turn it in. I'm like, okay, now I can do my work. Now I can do some org stuff. I can do fun stuff. So definitely like do the boring stuff, just get it out the way, and then do what you want to do.
I say that my freshman year, especially, like, for real, I partied a lot, too much, more than I should have, way more than I should have. My GPA was terrible. Fata, as you would say in Creole. It was terrible. And honestly, I would say, if there are them nights that you got something to do at 11:59, stay in. And this goes back to what I was saying before. Say no. If your friends say, "Are you trying to slide to the party?" Be like, give an excuse. Say you got something else to do, like, or say something impaired. Oh, I'm not feeling too good. Say whatever you got to say. But like I just said, that will be your last party at your university if you keep playing around with these teachers. And there's only so much leeway that these teachers give you for them to be like, okay, so you just did nothing all semester. What were you doing? And then you go hit them with a sob story and start crying. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know. I just got so overwhelmed. There was just so much going on. And really, you were just at the party, turning the club up and doing whatever, when y'all really just could have been at home. So I would tell y'all, if anything, learn to say no to the parties. Like, pick and choose your times to go out and do stuff, because they will have parties on weekdays, but you got to know when you want to like schedule your time out. And this goes back to planning and scheduling your day. You schedule your time to go party and schedule your time to rest, like Levy said. And then after that, then you can go back into like the all right, I got to go back and handle my business, because at the end of the day, this is your bread and butter. This was gonna give you like all your money. It's gonna give you the grades. It's gonna give you the professional and academic clout that you really feel like you want. So you can get those like opportunities and everything. So I would tell you that you need to know how to plan, like budget for real.
Personally, I don't really go out like that. I'm kind of a brat. I'm kind of a homebody, kind of by myself. However, I think it goes back to the idea of time management. If you need to write it down, write it down. If you need to mark a party in your planner, baby, mark a party in your planner. That way you can plan everything else. Make sure you have all your work done. If you need to do your work on the way to the party while you're in the car, everybody else having turning up in the back, baby, do it. So I think it goes back to, again, that time management aspect.
I would say I was actually the student that was doing too much right before I transferred. Like when I say doing too much, like I had to withdraw from the university doing too much because I was not doing what I was supposed to do as a student. And so I learned from that experience. Just it's hard sometimes. You don't want to be quote unquote boring, but get it done because the rewards that like what I see myself is okay. So first of all, we in COVID, you can't even do nothing anyways. So why are you worried about all this other stuff? It's not safe. To a certain extent, unless you got all the guidelines and stuff, it's not safe. But say you do want to go to a party, or you want to go hang out and do this, you got to make sure you have your priorities straight because not having your priorities straight will definitely twist the whole situation up. And like Anthony said, you will find yourself in a situation you're like, what? How did I even get here? Like when I came to A&T, I was a 3.5 student. When I left A&T, I had W's on my transcript because I wasn't having the good times management. I wasn't taking care of myself. I was going through a whole bunch of stress, but the stress was because I didn't know how to handle everything else. I had 2 jobs, but I was worried about my 2 jobs instead of worrying about my all 6, 7 classes that I was taking. So just making sure your priorities are straight will help you a lot. And you will reap the benefits in the end. You can party when you graduate. When you grown and you got grown people money, you got grown people stay at home days, you got them days. Listen, I'm trying to be a teacher. I know I'm about to have some days. So you can do all of that later, but you just being focused is really important. That's all I would say.
And honestly, you probably won't even be missing out. Like, think about it. Every party you've probably been to has been the same music, same people, same DJ. Like, it's literally all the same. It's just at a different time. So you're literally not missing nothing. Like, there's been times where I've stayed home because I have homework to do. I'll be like, oh, how was the set? Oh, it wasn't even all that for real. So, like, sometimes you probably not, it's not even going to be all that. Like, or even if it's a part 2. The part 1 was already didn't happen. It's already more fun. So part 2 ain't even gonna be all that because everybody knew that part 1 was fun. So yeah, like you probably won't even miss out on anything. So it's honestly not bad because like it's another one coming, and now it's COVID, so you really shouldn't be going out like that. But literally, it's always gonna be another party, always another set, always another function. So it's really not that serious.
I think it's also important when you make that transition from high school to college. I know for me, I was in all types of clubs in high school. I was in this, I was in that, I was walking around here, I was in the principal's office. You cannot do that in college. It's not gonna be the same. They're gonna give you a see, oh, Markel's a good person, I'm gonna give you. It's not gonna work. They will surely fail you and then act like they're your best friend when you're walking down, Brown Street. So keep that in mind. And for the parties, I think it's just important, keep the first 3 years actually. Do all the work you can. Your senior year, you can party all senior year because you'll have most of your classes done. You'll know where you're going for grad school or law school or med school. You can enjoy yourself now. And I think that's most important. Like for me, my freshman year, I put on the top of my wall, I want to be a foreign service officer. And that was my motivation. Every time I walked in, I saw it. So I said, okay, if I want to be a foreign service officer, I got to do my work. Of course, it's not working now, but it worked freshman year when I was on campus. So just to try to develop those methods to keep yourself motivated.
That's a good point. I feel like it's important to keep your goals and your vision in front of you so you don't forget why you're doing all this. One thing that helped me is some advice my mom gave me actually on the ride down to Howard. She said one thing that'll set you apart from the crowd is to work while everyone else is sleeping. She didn't mean that you shouldn't take time for yourself and obviously go to bed, but the time that other people are using to go crazy, have fun, and like just do stuff they really honestly have no business doing, that's the time when you can instead of trying to escape the life you have, create the life you want. So do your work. Don't forget why you came to this university in the first place, because there is an entire community of people who are counting on you, some that are here right now and some that'll be here in the future. So it's extremely important that you stay on this stuff. So I
would say one more thing, and I know that we all have heard it when we did our orientation or at some point. Look to your left, look to your right. Somebody not gonna be here. That is a staple HBCU saying. Look to your left, look to your right. Somebody's not gonna be here, because it is true. It is literally true. People that you see and they're like, oh, I'm about to graduate, I'm gonna be here, I'm gonna do this. They're not here. They somewhere. You don't know where they are, but they're not here. You hope them, you wish them the best, but they're not here. So you have to make sure that you are doing what you need to do to stay here or stay somewhere. It don't got to be here, but somewhere, so you can push and do your dreams.
I'm gonna follow up with another HBCU staple, and I know this is a big one here at FAM, but I'm pretty sure it could be said for every HBCU out there. It's not about what you know; it's about who you know.
And who knows you.
Yeah, and who knows you. Because there's going to come a time when you need a letter of recommendation for this organization, or you're going to want to go into this event, but you don't got the money to pay for it. So somebody at the door probably got to take it. You know that person. You know what I'm saying? And they going to get you right. But that goes for everything. College is a big world. You know what I'm saying? And in order to navigate, you really got to utilize all of your resources, because that's what's going to get you through it in the end.
And if we're gonna go with another HBCU little quote, to be early is to be on time. To be on time is to be late, and to be late is to be forgotten. So please be on time to class, interviews, 15 minutes before. Like, be on time. I promise being on time is not that hard. And it shows your lack of professionalism if you aren't on time. And there's already stigma against Black people incorporated with not being on time and woo woo woo. So it's important to start early with really being on time. That way it carries into your adult life. So to be early is to be on time.
Well, since we're doing the HBCU quotes, my first day on Morehouse, they told me, get over it. You're going to be tired the rest of your life. So stop using it as an excuse. So if you say, I'm tired, I can't do this paper, I don't do this, the excuses got to go out the window. You're going to be tired to the day you take your last breath. So just try to do the work and, be motivated. I'm taking it for myself, because I'm realizing now I got to get my stuff together as I'm listening to y'all. So, yeah.
That's true.
I said, what are excuses? Oh, my bad.
Oh, no.
I was going to answer that question. What are excuses? Excuses, for those who know the definition, excuses are tools of the incompetent that seldom accomplish nothing at all. Tools of the incompetent that seldom accomplish anything at all. That is what that is, period.
I feel like every HBCU professor will tell you that if you're like even a moment late on an assignment, the assignment can be due at 4, and if you're at 4:01, he's like, excuses. And you're like,
what are excuses? Like,
you're like, oh, God. I feel like more people know that than they know the alma mater at their university, but it's fine. It's fine. It's okay, because I know I don't know Howard's alma mater, but I know that quote. Last pre-submitted question is, if you are a member of a Divine Nine fraternity or sorority, what types of events and service activities have you participated in, and do you recommend them for other students? Bailey, we're going to have to start with you on this one.
Well, I am a Spring 20 initiative of the Delta Alpha Chapter, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, the best sorority in the world. Argue with somebody else, but yeah. So Big Sister Beverly, she told us we can only do virtual events. We can't do anything in person at all. Like, we can't even shoot a video. We can't be in front of a photographer, nothing. So everything is completely virtual. So honestly, we haven't done any community service. Just simple fact that we can't do nothing in person. I don't think we can even come together and make boxes or I don't know, beds or whatever. So yeah, and our advisors, they're I call them Miss Nationals and Secret Service Hampton, because they're strict. They will call the regional director on us real quick. So we haven't really done community service. I actually serve as social action chair for my chapter. So, you know, back in 2020, we had elections. So I was just pushing everybody. I was like, vote. I don't care who you vote for. You can vote for Trump. I really don't care, but vote. Like we finally have that right to vote, so vote. So I did a lot of voting initiatives. So I did a thing called 13 Minutes where I interviewed candidates that were going to be on our ballot, and they had 13 minutes to answer the questions. I did actual PowerPoint of like all the candidates, like the positions, and also the candidates who are running in their platforms. Because, and also what I wanted to make a statement that you don't have to just vote for president. Like we had the Senate, we have school board members, and let's just be realistic. Like the legislative branch has more power than the president. Like let's just be realistic. So I did a lot of social action initiatives, especially with voting rights. This semester, my goal, I just wanted to really just get people involved in politics. Like, I'm not saying like be a political science major. I'm not saying be president of the United States. You don't have to do all that, but you can still at least know about politics. So what was it? Was that all?
Do you recommend them for other students? I think the answer is clear. You definitely would.
Like Greek life or?
Mm-hmm. Greek life.
Okay, I'm sorry. Let me be serious. Okay. I mean, I would definitely say if you're interested in a D9, do your research, because once you're in it, you're in it. It's like herpes. Once you got it, you got it. Like, no cure for it. It's not going away. Like, so do your research. I don't know how other schools do it. At my school, please be discreet, because I'm gonna be honest with you, I hate when somebody comes up to me, when y'all doing the next line? Why are you in my business? Yes, they literally came up to me like, oh, when y'all doing the line? Or I'm interested. I don't care. And I'm sorry, y'all. But do your research. Freshman year, please do not come up to me talking about you're interested. Focus on them grades, because if you got a 2.6, 2.5, I'm not picking you. Actually, Nationals is not going to pick you. So, yeah, but if it's like, definitely if it's for you, it's for you. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, like my mom is a Delta, so like in high school, I was like, well, I want to be Delta because my mom a Delta. But when I got my senior year, I'm like, I'm not doing nothing for her. So I got to campus and I was like, I love D9 on campus. I love how they're really just making like campus a lot better. Like, let's just be realistic. Like, we did go through some financial troubles, and our Alpha chapter, they actually donated $10,000 to the school to help like with financial needs. So I was like, I really want to be a part of D9, just because of that reason. So I did my research on 2 other orgs, because they were the 2 active ones on our campus, and I'm not about to pay all that money and all that just to not do nothing. So I did do my research with AKA and Delta. Delta was just more for me, just simply because of like social action and how they are as females. So I did it. I'm here. Almost won March 1st. But yeah.
Is anyone else on this panel? I know we had an Omega Man, but I'm not sure exactly where he went, but
he actually got to go handle something with his per fight. So, yeah.
And there you have it, folks. So,
sorority business, fraternity business never stops. I was literally at work on calls. Like, it does not stop at all. So I can understand where he's coming from. But yeah.
That's great. We love D9 organizations. They are always stepping up to the plate to help the Black community. Those are all of the pre-submitted questions that I have. We are now opening the Q&A session for people to ask questions and submit them to the panel. Don't be shy. They will answer whatever questions you may have. So. Oh, I actually don't have it open. I hope y'all haven't submitted questions and I just didn't see. Embarrassing. Okay. I'm not sure exactly who this question was directed to, but it says, is your school big course, is it small? So I guess all of you could answer. Are your schools, would you consider them small or large?
TSU is medium size. We have about 10,000 students, so we're medium. So about 2,500 per classification. So that's a medium sized campus. It's not too big, but it's not too big.
I think same for PV. However, I will say it may be medium sized, but everybody knows everybody. They're very much family oriented in that way. And then if you play a sport, we're D1. So if that helps answer your question.
Bethune-Cookman is a dot. Like, we only got 3,000 kids at our school, so yeah.
It's the same for Central. Central State University has, I just looked it up, it's 2,033 students registered at Central State, and about maybe a tenth of those students go, well, maybe more than that, a little more than that actually stay on campus.
Okay.
So I believe Morehouse, I don't even know how many students it is, but I do know that it's very small. It's not like one of those big universities like Harvard or any other PWI. So it's fairly small, but you know, our influence is big.
Speaking on big influences, you know, FAMU's pretty decent as well. We got about 9,500 to 10,000 students. So yeah, that can tell you how big our family is, you know.
Oh, Lord.
Howard's like similar to FAMU. He got like 9,000, 10,000 students, but not to mention a lot of the grad schools. So they kind of count. I mean, I think they count to that 9,000, 10,000, I believe. Don't quote me, but I believe so. But I think, yeah, the campuses are really nice sizes. I'll say one thing about Howard though, and his campus is that them dang hills. Them hills, like, I don't know. I remember FAMU had a large hill and Howard had a large hill. And that's like the thing. That's something that you notice on campus. Like, and I don't know if it's an HBCU thing, but them hills will kill you in the morning when it's cold, will kill you in the morning when you just want to get to class. They'll just kill you.
Isn't FAMU the highest of 7 hills? I think I remember from my tour. Is that still true, Tristan?
Tristan, you're muted. Well, I know Howard University is called Hilltop High. It's actually in our alma mater. So there's a couple hills that honestly you're going to need faith and prayer and motivation to get up that hill to go to class. Like sometimes I just look at it like, how bad do I want this degree? Really bad. So, and then start moving. Our next question. Oh, wow. PV's nickname is The Hill. So apparently all HBCUs are just built on hills. Like, I guess that's like a thing. They just were like, hill.
We got the highest ones though.
It's
the plantations.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, God, baby. Yeah, I guess our founders were like, nice hill. We should build a school there. Another question was, what are the financial aid packages like?
I'll answer. I think it depends. If you're doing well in high school now, you should be okay. I say, so I'm a distinguished honor scholar, so they pretty much pay for most of my school. However, I still need some. I'm not gonna lie, I still need some. So, I don't know if other institutions are like this. Once you're admitted, you should be able to go and just apply to every single scholarship. When I say every single scholarship on your school website, I just clicked. Or ours is like if you want to apply, click yes. If you don't, click no. And it'll show you like the ones you qualify for. Maybe go click every single one and apply. If you think you're not getting any money, you are. Even if you don't think you'll need it.
I would say, like, I'm not gonna lie, like my ACT score was low, so like I really didn't get money from BCU. I think I only got like 4,000, and everything cost 25,000. It cost 25,000 to go there. So I did a lot of outside scholarships. I did take out loans. Like I think I'm like $25,000 in the hole. But you know, I think like even though I did take a whole bunch of loans out, but I'm having fun. Like I wouldn't be doing this at OSU. Like yeah, I'll probably be going to school for free at OSU, but I wouldn't be having fun. I'll probably be sitting in the colors only section, you know. So Yeah, but I would say that there's like a whole bunch of scholarships, like just because you went to HBCU, like for example, United Negro College Fund, Thurgood Marshall. Also, like even with grad school, like there's actually a whole bunch of grad schools where like if you get in, like you're automatically getting a full ride just because you went to HBCU. Like I know, like I'm planning on going to law school. The two law schools where if you apply and you get in, like you're going to school for free is Wayne State and University of Florida. So I mean, I'm not going there. I might not. I don't know. We're gonna figure it out. But those are definitely my safe schools. I'm definitely applying because I don't care. Like if I get to go to law school for free, I don't mind paying that little $25,000 that I owe to the government. So.
I would say that your the financial aid package that they're gonna send you right after you're accepted, that is not your final financial aid package, because you're gonna send emails, you're gonna call, you're gonna find a best friend in financial aid, because that's what I did. Miss Yvette McCoy, send her flowers every year, so I stay in contact. And once you do that, they'll remember you. They say, "Oh, that's a good boy. His GPA is good. Let me add another 25,000 on there." And you'll see that freshman year, you may not have as many scholarships, but now I'm an Oprah scholar. I got a UNCF scholarship. I'm a Panicare scholar. So, don't be too worried about financial aid. As long as you advocate for yourself, you'll be perfectly fine.
I would say look into endowment scholarships because those can help a lot. A&T has a lot of endowment scholarships, and I was actually able to pay for the majority of my schooling when I was there through endowment scholarships, and becoming an honor student at Central paid for my tuition at Central. So it just depends. You have, like everyone said, you need to call. Like I said earlier, Miss Nancy, my name is Lovey. I talked to you 5 times this week, and I need to find a financial aid package. But doing those endowment scholarships, looking at your school website to make sure you see all the scholarships, local scholarships that are in your neighborhood, church scholarships, organizational scholarships, different things will really help you. And even if they're small, you can apply to 50 small $500 scholarships, but that's a lot of money when you add up how many you actually get. So, and also if your parents are part of unions, see if your parents' union will pay for you to go to school, or if your parents' union will have partnerships with schools. Like I mentioned earlier, my mom is in a union, and so certain schools I can go to. I just learned this. I can go to for free because of her union. So paying attention to that would be a great thing because you could get school paid for and you didn't even know it.
I'll say also, I don't know if it's just me personally, I'm a preacher's kid. Y'all ask y'all's church. Please, if you go to church, please ask them. And oftentimes, many churches, especially Black churches, have like scholarship competitions or oratorical competitions that you can enter as a high school senior that will help you pay. So if you go to church, get in contact with your pastor. Call him up after you get off this Zoom.
Okay, the next question that was submitted is how does IB and AP credit transfer and how does it benefit you? Well, I see Brianna's mouth moving. We'll start with there.
Okay, personally, y'all, like I said earlier, I took every honors class in the book. I took every AP class in the book. And I honestly, not that I regret it, but I don't think that it's necessarily necessary. It can help you, but personally it didn't help me just because the major I chose, the class that I was taking, didn't really apply to my major. So I would say if anything versus AP classes, see if your school offers College Credit Plus. I know my high school offer that, so take College Credit Plus because sometimes AP doesn't transfer over. And you're going to be very upset and you're going to be struggling for no reason. So College Credit Plus over AP, yeah.
To piggyback on that, so I took both AP, and I did dual enrollment. I got ones on all my AP tests, so obviously they didn't transfer. But my dual enrollment transfer, I did 15 credits dual enrollment, and now I am a semester ahead. I did have the option of graduating a semester early, but I'm going to law school. Another law school start in January, so I'm about to stay and just like do what I want to do. Well, actually, my last semester, I'm going to be doing a full-time internship instead of doing actual classwork. So that helped me a lot because of those 15 credits. And also, I got to add a paralegal certificate. So I'm actually taking my certifications in October. So I'll be a certified paralegal. So I can definitely use that towards law school. So I'm not saying like, if you want to graduate early, you know, do your little thing, graduate early. But you can also take advantage of like staying on time. So like adding a minor to help your resume look good and things of that nature. So
I can say for myself, I'm probably the worst moderator ever. I keep interjecting. I'm sorry, y'all. I took IB courses in high school. My schedule after during my junior year was entirely IB. So I only took, with the exception of math. So the great thing about IB is you don't actually take exams until your senior year. So your junior year and your entire senior year until the very, very end is all about like absorbing the information and getting acquainted with like the literature and other things they have you read. So in senior year, when I took my exams, I scored 5s and 6s on everything. So those credits did transfer. So I was 6 credits ahead. So I actually didn't have to pay for those, and they transferred to my humanities credits. So when I got to school, they were like, oh, you don't even have to take these classes. And they're like classics and some other stuff that I would have taken had they made me, but I saved money. And I'm actually like credit-wise, I'm considered a senior. Although classification in terms of the amount of time I've been at the school, I'm only a junior. So if you have the opportunity of, like Brianna said, take college credit plus or IB courses, because I know different schools, IB can be a little confusing, and as well as AP. So definitely check with the school ahead of time and ask them, do they recommend that you take IB over AP or AP over IB? And if so, what score do you need in order for them to transfer so that you can take some time off the overall amount of time that you'll be at the university, so you can save yourself some money? The next, oh, I'm sorry.
You're fine. I was gonna say, I think overall it just depends on the person, because like Britt said, technically she qualifies as a senior. Personally, technically I do too. I'm able to graduate early. Bailey said she was able to graduate early. I didn't transfer my credits, Bailey didn't, but Britt did. So it honestly depends on you, or how you want to do it. You don't have to. I'm not gonna say do it. I'm not gonna say not do it. It's just a personal choice.
Absolutely. The next question I think is directed at Bailey. It said, like your mom, my mom is a part of DST. As a young woman that has done a lot of community service and has a high GPA, would you recommend me joining?
Honestly, if it's for you, then do it, but don't do it because of your mom. Don't do it because like your auntie's a Delta or whatever. Like, do it because you want to be a Delta. So like I said, my in high school, yes, I said I wanted to be a Delta because my mom was a Delta. Like, I never researched, I never knew the founders or like when they were founded or none of that. Like, I didn't know none of that. I was like, I want to be a Delta because my mom's a Delta. Like I said, I got to my senior year, I was like, I'm not doing nothing for her. So I went to school. Now again, I went to school and I was like, I do want to be a part of a D9 sorority because of what they done on campus. So what I did was, I was like, fall semester, I'm worried about my grades. Spring semester, I'm just gonna go to all the Greek events, all the sorority events to see like how they are as a chapter. Because like yeah, you're all gonna be a Delta nationally, but like your chapter is like your chapter. So spring semester, I just looked at everybody's chapter and I seen that the AKs and the Deltas, they were the ones that were doing activities or doing programming. So that was my 2 options. I did my research over the summer. Like, I literally bought 2 books, read over them, and I just feel like Delta was just for me. Like, it was for me. It wasn't for my mom. Like, I mean, my mom, like, she was probably like 10% the reason like why I wanted to become a Delta, but she wasn't the rest of the 90%. The rest of the 90% was me doing my research and doing it for myself. And like, how do I say this without getting my letters taken away? Pledging undergrad is different from doing like grad chapter or doing it at a PWI. I'm the one going into detail of that because yeah. So you have to do it for you. I'm gonna say you have to do it for you just because of that reason. It's just a whole different ball game. Like, even like just learning more about the information and like just the whole process as a whole is completely different. It's hard. It's hard. I'm just saying it's hard. So you just can't do it for somebody else. You have to do it for yourself. So like now, I don't know if you're a senior or like what grade you're in, but once you get into college, do your research, like learn about the founders, learn about when we were founded, learn about why we were founded, things like that. Like even go on Wikipedia. Like I mean, I know it's not inaccurate, but like some of it's true. So yeah.
Okay, the next question, we'll start with Anthony on this one because I feel like he has a good perspective. How do you feel about the admissions process being deferred versus being denied?
So I'll say this. First of all, be adamant, because you will apply to a school and you won't hear back until the day before the application date. But that's not all schools, but I'm just saying, be adamant about what you want. And then when you apply for like admissions and everything, first of all, do more things like this. I'll say this, because the admission process isn't just you being admitted. The admissions process is reviewing your application, and that's a huge part of it. So make sure your application is up to date. When I was applying to college, I got help from one of my teachers. I still talk to her. She's like my favorite. Like she's like my mother. If I say anything, Miss Issei, she helped me through my entire application process. She helped me choose my school. I would not have went to Howard if she didn't tell me to apply. She helped me through like most of the process, like out of everything. I would never like say that the application process is easy either. But one thing I learned is you got to be adamant and you got to be very organized. So make sure your application is good in terms of your grades. Your GPA need to be good. Your transcripts need to be there on time. Your SAT scores, study. Don't just look at it the day before and be like, man, this is I know how to read and do math. No, that is completely different. Study. Make sure that you know that if you can afford it and everything, because when they start asking for their money, they're gonna be like, so what's going on? And HBCUs are good for your money. They're good for coming to get your money and taking money. So make sure that you are adamant about the admissions process. But in terms of like you getting in, if you don't hear a response by a certain time, do not be afraid to email them. Don't be afraid to call them. Don't even be afraid to pull up to the school. If you want to pull up to the school and be like, so I ain't getting my admission decision yet, and things are approaching, and I'm getting my application, and I'm starting to like organize myself for college, and I need to know what college I'm going to. So what's going on? I called Howard 1,000 times. I called FIU 1,000 times. I called a lot of schools 1,000 times to make sure that I was getting my things together. So I think that is that's really important when it comes to applying and the admission process. And if you get deferred, you get deferred. That's just what it is. You can always advocate for yourself, so don't be afraid to call and be like, oh, I've done this and this. I want to know why I was deferred to this campus. Nothing's wrong with being deferred per se, because sometimes you just get deferred because you just get deferred because there's a high volume of applications coming in, and they may just defer you because there's too many people coming in. So yeah, but that's where you being adamant comes in, because you're the only person out of all those kids that got deferred that is on top of your stuff and calling them, and they're gonna be like, okay, this person really wants to go to this school. Okay, let's review this application so they can stop calling me and leave me alone. Annoy them. But yeah, that's what I'll say.
And also,
Go ahead.
go ahead. Okay, I was gonna say, and also make sure you get good recommendation letters. We can talk a lot about AP scores, and we talk a lot about taking the right class, having the right GPA. But I think it doesn't get talked about enough. Ask your teachers, ask whoever for a recommendation letter, because at the end of the day, I feel like that can really impact their decision. You can have a good GPA, but like I don't know who said it. Like every HBCU says, like they said. It's not what you know, sometimes it's who you know. And if they see you have a good recommendation letter, they see somebody really likes your character, especially going to HBCU, they're more likely to let you in.
So I can kind of speak on this as well. So when I was a senior in high school, I did actually get conditionally accepted into FAMU. So that means like I would have to do like a summer program. And then if I got like a C or better in the summer program, then I'll be admitted. I would say like the admission process, especially like for HBCUs, I feel like it's not like as like harsh as like it would be like Harvard or like Brown or Cornell or Yale. Like let's just be realistic. Like we were built just to educate Black people, like, because they didn't want us at OSU, they didn't want us at Harvard, they didn't want us at these little University of Illinois or whatever. So they still want to keep that momentum of educating African Americans. So of course, if you call and be like, hey, like I really like want to go to school, or like even like again like visit, schedule a tour and speak with admissions, you know. So that's definitely my advice. Like if you really want to go there, you better make admissions know that you really want to go there.
Oh, and also, I'm sorry. I know I'm talking a lot, y'all. Kind of like Janae was saying, HBCUs aren't always, they may not be the most difficult to get into, but the whole look around, this person might not be here, they are difficult to stay in. So even if the admission process is not difficult, you want to make sure you're keeping your grades up because you want to be able to stay in the school.
And I would even say sometimes a deferral will actually be more of a blessing than you know. For example, even though I mainly applied to HBCUs, I think everybody had like that one PWI they'll be okay with going to. And mine was Ohio University. Like if it all went bad, I was gonna go to OU and be happy. And I got into the school, but I didn't get into the communications program. And they were like, well, you have to sit out a whole year. And if you get above a 3.0 after a year, then we'll let you in. A year, like that's a long time to be waiting for a class, you know, and I can come here and we can be in the class tomorrow. So for me, like, I just didn't want to wait the year. And I'm actually glad I got deferred kind of because I probably wouldn't have came to TSU, you know? So I would definitely say sometimes look at it as a blessing in disguise, because a lot of the times God's rejection is God's protection, and he's always going to steer you in the way that you need to go. Like it's up here. It's at Psalms 37:23 says, our steps are made firm by the Lord when he delights in our way. So just always know he has a plan. And like, if you just follow like his path, it's going to be okay. So sometimes you may have thought you wanted to go to, let's say Hampton, for example, you got deferred, but now you're at Tuskegee and you love Tuskegee. Sometimes it just works out that way, and it all works out in the end.
All right. This question is actually directed at Lovey. What is an endowment scholarship?
So an endowment scholarship is a scholarship that is funded outside of the school. So a organization or a person will put a certain amount of funds towards a scholarship and donated that money to the school. So for example, what's one? Wells Fargo has an endowment scholarship at a lot of HBCUs. They're actually, a lot of HBCUs have Wells Fargo scholarships. And at A&T, they had a Wells Fargo scholarship for $2,000. It was renewable. So that specific bank chose to give a certain amount of money to A&T, and I or anybody else can apply to that scholarship as long as they reach the qualifications behind that scholarship.
Okay. Thank you. This one, do you have any tips for rising seniors that will be going through the upcoming application process? We'll start with Tristan.
So I want to say one tip I do have would be to apply for as many scholarships as you can. That's very important for the simple fact that, well, obviously going into college, you're not going to have much, but besides like what you get off of FAFSA and financial aid and stuff like that. But if you actually apply for scholarships, that's money that you won't have to pay back once you graduate. If you apply for any grants, Pell Grant, I know a lot of students are eligible for Pell Grants. You know what I'm saying? That's money you don't have to pay back at all. So if you got a good GPA and a good resume and a good letter of recommendation, a lot of scholarships I know ask for letters, not too many, but yeah, that's very important because that's just more money in your pocket, especially if you're able to get it. The earlier you apply, the more you'll have towards your education.
The next, and I believe the last question, just kidding. There's another one. How do you feel about being an out-of-state student? And I'm going to slide this into Markel.
Yeah, so at first I was extremely nervous. Let me start from the beginning. Actually, I was supposed to go to FAMU. I got a scholarship to study abroad in Eastern Europe. So I was basically taking a gap year. I was going to take classes at a university that I could transfer to a college, but didn't turn out. So that's why I'm a sophomore. But while I was in Bulgaria, I applied for Morehouse, and I was very nervous because I was going to Georgia. Although I had like family in southern Georgia, it was a totally different environment. I didn't know anybody that was going to be there, and I was going in as a freshman. But once you get there and you see that you can create a new atmosphere for yourself, and you can create a new story for yourself, you'll understand that it was the best decision. Going to where all your friends went is sometimes not the best thing because you have to continue to go with the same crowd, same vibe. Everybody's still doing the same thing they did in high school. And sometimes that's not good for your mental health or for you educationally. So definitely, if you do want to go out of state, I'd say go for it. Just let the fear and happiness guide you.
I can being an out-of-state student is a lot. It's a whole different type of vibe. I've always known I want to go out of state because I knew I want to go to an HBCU outside of Ohio. So like, and both my parents were out-of-state students. So I've always been encouraged to go out of state. They went to Kentucky State. So look at Lovey. Yeah, they went to Kentucky State. So yeah, so there's that. But for me, it was actually a culture shock. Like, people really say you from the North and you're a Northern. I'm like, this is slavery? What do you mean I'm from the North? Like, what type of, like, what are you talking about? Like, oh, you from the North. I'm like, this ain't slavery. We're gonna follow the North Star too? Like, I don't understand, follow the drinking gourd. I don't know, they was weird with that. But I would say it's definitely a culture shock. Like, I go to TSU. TSU is mainly Memphis. And I love my Memphis people, but they have some of the thickest accents you have ever heard in your entire life. And like, sometimes I didn't understand them and they think I'm trying to be funny and be disrespectful and rude towards them. And it's like, you're literally speaking gibberish. Like, I cannot understand you. Like, I don't know what you're saying to me. And then they listen to different music. Like, when we're from up north, like, we all have different music tastes, but like, I listen to kind of Chicago music. Like, they listen to real hood, like real Southern, like Kid Glock, Moneybagg Yo type of music. And I'm like, what is this music type deal? So it was actually a culture shock. And at first I didn't like TSU because I felt like the people were really weird. And they were just different for me because like they were just different. And they all eat pork too. So weird. Anyway, besides the point. Like, it was a big culture shock and it was hard. But I think me being an out-of-state student and coming to meet these different people, it has diversified my viewpoint and my thoughts. And I've actually grown because like, you shouldn't hang out with people that are too similar to you. Like, you should meet people who have different socioeconomic statuses, different backgrounds than you. People have come from single parent homes, and you just really change the more you get to meet different people that aren't like you. So while being an out-of-state student is very costly, very expensive, and it has its challenges, I wouldn't change it for the world. And now I have reasons to go to Atlanta and Chicago and Memphis. You feel me? Because like, all my Southern friends are down there. So yeah, it's actually been a very enriching experience. It sucks when I go home because all my friends literally stay 10 hours away from me, but it's honestly the best experience in the world. It's not that bad being out.
I definitely agree with Janae. Especially my school is right outside Houston, and when she talks about like different music tastes, like the energy is different. I guess the people act different because people in different areas tend to do that. So I'm going to a party, they're listening to Most City Don. I'm like, what is that? And most people will be like, what is that? But it's a Houston thing. So it's different, but it helps you grow as a person. So I think definitely I recommend it. And then even if it's like, I know sometimes your friends may have that influence on you, like you want to go here because you want to be closer to them, but it can also help your friendships grow. So I know like myself, I go to PV and my best friend Jamila goes to Tennessee State. I think that, and when I tell you we used to spend every day together, and I think we needed this 4 years apart, this time apart, in order to strengthen our friendship. So if friendships are the reason that you're staying, don't let them be, because if it's meant to be like a connection that you're going to have that's going to last, it will work out that way. And also, I just think being away from your family, being away from the environment that you grew up in. Personally, I went to school in Tascala. That is a predominantly white town, like country, real country. And I go to Prairie View, which is the largest black city in Texas. Baby, culture shock. But I think in a good way, because I think it gives you an appreciation for, not only just an appreciation for your home and, for the people that you are raised around, but an appreciation for these new groups and like these new people and new experiences. And I think that's an experience that not saying if you go to school in state you're not going to have, but being away and not being able to get to your family is a different type of, like, it feels different. Like, my mama is 20 hours away, so I can't just hey mom, I'm about to come home and get dinner. So it gives you a new level of appreciation for those people.
So I can go ahead and talk about this. So like they said in the beginning, I'm from Columbus, Ohio. My school is in Daytona Beach, Florida. So I'm far. So the only reason I actually chose to go school out of state is because me and my mom are literally like this. Like we're super close. Like, I depend on her everything. You can tell by the way we look just alike. So I knew like the only way I could be successful is if I'm far. Like she can't drive. Like honestly, if I would have went to Central State or before, if I needed help on paper, she would come to my dorm and help me with my paper. If I needed my clothes washed, she would come to my dorm, get my clothes, go back home, put it in the washer and dryer, take it back to me. Like, no, I need to learn how to do my own stuff. Like, I'm be honest with you, I did have, like, when I came down here, I did have to call my mom, like, Mom, how the heck you work this washer and dryer? I'm not gonna lie to y'all. So, but I've definitely learned how to be more dependent, and I definitely wouldn't have been this independent if I would have went to a school close to my mom. Also, it's just an experience. Like, you're here in school, you're at a different state, experience. Like, go, like, let's just be real. Like, the only thing in Ohio is Easton. Like, you really want to go to Easton for 4 years? Like, no, like, go somewhere else. Like, what the heck? Like, and like, I'm 5 minutes away from the beach. Like, my freshman year, I was kicking. I caught sunburn on my shoulders and all. Like, it was just a great experience. So, definitely, like, consider going out of state. And I know a lot of people are like, tuition, you pay more. If you go to a private school, it's the same if you're from Florida or if you're from Ohio. So if you're worried about that tuition, like, go to a private HBCU. When I came to Florida, it was definitely a culture shock. Like, I was like, this ain't for me for real. Like, my beginning of my freshman year, and then everyone wants to call me bougie, and I'm like, no, I'm not bougie, y'all country. Like, they like when they eat crab legs, they use their teeth. Like, no, where's your little crab crackers? Like, so I definitely went through a culture shock. It was my first time seeing city girls. I went to a party. I was like, oh my God, like city girls. I never heard of city girls before. And then people were like scraping the floor, twerking. I'm like, oh my God, y'all got these knees, these little southern knees, like mega knees. So I definitely, like, my first year, I definitely, like, I went through a culture shock, but I got used to it. I'm like, okay, this is cool. It's definitely something to learn. So, yeah.
I appreciate you commenting on Florida's culture, but I'm gonna let y'all know now Florida's culture is A1, and especially Broward County, you already know. But other than that, I'll say it was different for me going to Howard, because Howard was in the north. First of all, I mean, my family's from New York, and me and my siblings were some of the first ones to be actually raised here in Florida, really. But going up to like the north, it was completely different because all people could ever comment is, "You're so country," and I was like, "I'm not country at all." Like, I could even, like, my image of country was plains, like plantations and kids rolling in the grass. Like, that was me. And Broward, like the South Broward County is very city like, and I was like. And I wanted to go to a school that was predominantly like with Black people because my high school was predominantly Black. So going up there, it's like seeing people call me different things and like culturally be so different was interesting too. It was like so much cultural diversity. It was like, what, you go to like a party and they're playing music you ain't never heard, seeing dances, people dance to the same, like Jersey people, they dance to the same music as people in Florida, but they do it so different. And I was like, and then people like I don't know, it's an interesting thing. And then there are like clubs, there are clubs and organizations in your college that most likely people from your state will collectively make. So I think that's like another cool thing about going to school out of state. Like, you're never really alone. You just think you're alone, but you'll find your community. And like that's the beauty of going somewhere where you don't know. Like Markel said, like, you find friends. Like, you'll find people and people to connect with that you really like vibe with, that really will change your perspective on life and the way you see things, and the backgrounds of different people will make you feel like, dang, like, y'all so different from me, but we can still be so close. So I think that's something I appreciated about going out of state and going to Howard. And even if it is expensive, just like Bailey said, like, you're paying for more than just education. You're paying for like an experience. Like, Like you're paying for something that's gonna be long lasting, well beyond your graduation date. You'll be able to talk to anybody versus the people that probably stayed in state because they were too scared to venture out or didn't want to venture out for this sort of reason. Nothing's wrong with staying in state. Don't get me wrong, but I just mean like you'll have more experience talking to different people, and that's how life's gonna be. Because when you get into a job office, you never know. Your manager may be from Seattle, and you're like, Seattle, and you say the wrong thing, and they're like, okay, I'm a nope. And next thing you know, you're out of a job. So just be wary of that.
Yeah, I agree with Anthony. Oh,
I'm sorry. You know, go ahead.
I was gonna say I agree with everything Anthony said, but it's funny here Anthony and Tristan say plantation was predominantly black. I don't know why I assumed that our high school was predominantly white, but maybe because I was hanging out with a little bit too many white people. But when you go to a HBCU, I think it will expose you that black people are different. I think some of us are taught that black people are just one thing. We're this, we're this, we're that, and that's the product of slavery and racism. And once you go to HBCU, it's like, wow, black people are really diverse. We're not all Democrats. Some of us are Republicans. We're not all poor. Some of us are rich. So I think that's exactly the whole point of going to HBCU, going out of state and making those experiences. Because I don't know, for me, when I'm uncomfortable, that's when I learn the most things. So I know, take advantage of that.
I want to speak on that a little bit more because, like, my friends, like, I grew up pretty well. Like, I have both my parents in my life. Both my parents are very smart, very educated, like, well off. Like, we living good over here. And, like, I didn't really know anybody that lived in Section 8 housing whose parents are abusive, who they have a terrible relationship with their mother, who they literally have to raise their siblings, you know. And if you really become empathetic to just different people in their situations, like my best friend, like she had to pretty much like raise herself. She takes care of her siblings. Like she's here on a scholarship because like they literally don't have anything to send her to school with. And you just kind of like really learn a lot because I've never had to worry about getting school paid for. I'm on a scholarship and my dad pays for my education. Like anything I've ever wanted in life has pretty much been handed to me in some way, shape, or form. And to see people who truly have nothing to really like work and come from something, it actually inspires me to be better and do better, and it makes me want to have a better future for my child, because I know people who are going through the mud. I don't go through that. I don't want my future child to go through that. So I will say you learn a lot. You see the diversity in people's lives, and you learn a lot from people who aren't like you. So be open to that when you are going to another HBCU. Be open to different people's experiences and their viewpoints and why they think the way they think and why they are the way they are, because I'm pretty sure it's always a good reason for why people are the way they are. You just have to really take the time to get to know them.
And then going off what Markel was saying again, you really do learn, especially I think the beautiful thing about going to an HBCU, and especially out of state or across the country, is that you learn Black people are not a monolith. There are so many different types. There are so many, there's so many different variations of Black people. And I think especially, I'm very into social activism, that type of thing, but I think that's a lesson that even I needed to learn. And I think especially, like I said, I came from a predominantly white area, so I'm friends with every Black person in my school. There's 10 of us, but I'm cool with all of them. So I have this skewed view of Black people act like this, or even among us, there was these Black people and these Black people. When you go to an HBCU, you're like, wow, there's not just this type and this type. There's this, and you can be both. And I think that is such a cool thing to learn about yourself and about your people. And I think a lot of people, especially when I said that I was going to HBCU, a lot of people told me not to because they wanted me to be around diversity. And I don't know why people think the Black people ain't diverse. The Black people are the most diverse, I would say. And I think especially being out of state, you learn that. Even if it's accents or music or dances, how Bailey was saying, you learn that there are so many different types of Black folk. And I think it makes you appreciate your culture and your people even more, and make you love your people even more.
Okay. We have 2 questions left. In the interest of time, we actually are a bit over time, but this question is for Lovey. How was the application process for North Carolina A&T?
So for me, the application process was not hard, but that was because Like my mama had, like I said, my mom went to North Carolina A&T. My cousins went to North Carolina A&T. Everybody went to A&T and Winston-Salem State are family schools for my family. So I was, do you have this GPA? Do you have this? Do you have that? And I don't remember clearly, but when I applied, there wasn't that much that was needed for the application, so it was pretty straightforward. I don't think I needed a letter of recommendation. I just needed my transcripts, my ACT scores, and like a personal statement. And I was practicing that personal statement by doing scholarships and talking and doing different things for different organizations while I was in high school to get that practice. And it's also not what you know, but who you know, because when I applied right before the alumni scholarship was due. And you had to know that you were accepted into the university at a certain time. So I don't know who did what, when, where, and why, but I got accepted. I'm not going to say no names. I don't know who. I don't know, but I got accepted, and that was a great process. And it was really easy, and it was like an exciting time for the family. But I will say, in contrast, my acceptance to Central State, which I know this is not the question, but my acceptance to Central State was a very difficult process. And it made me upset because it was very different from when I applied to A&T. So when I applied for Central State, I of course had the transfer GPA. I had everything that I needed, but the financial aid and the admissions office was very hard to reach, which happens at a lot of HBCUs. I had to call every day. At one point, we drove from Columbus to Central and delivered my transcripts. And then they were like, well, you can't deliver them. We need it from school. So I had made them sign to get my transcripts. So I had a record saying, listen, you have my transcripts, because it was to a point where they're like, oh, we don't have this, we don't have that. And I knew that they had it. So sometimes you got to get on your high horse and ride that thing till you get what you need done. So gratefully, when I applied to A&T, that wasn't my experience, but that I know that was an experience for some people where they had to call financial aid every day. They had to get transcripts and have them sign it for a transcript so that they have records saying, okay, on August 17th of 2021, you received my transcript at 2:37 p.m. because you can't say that you didn't have that. There's where you have to find some type, can I talk to your head? And then ask them, can I talk to the manager? Can I talk to the director? And tell the director, okay, I want you to remember my name and remember my situation and remember my application. And the minute that you have my stuff, you need to call me and say, okay, we have your stuff. Make a paper trail, all those different things, because it happens where stuff just doesn't get done like it's supposed to. Sorry, that was long-winded, but it's the truth.
Thank you for that, Lovey. I actually, that's an experience that's very real for most HBCU students. Our last question that was submitted is, do you think that volunteer work and extracurricular activities plays an important role in your acceptance? What would you recommend for students who go to schools who don't provide many activities, especially for free?
I think you have to find them yourself sometimes. It goes back to, if you go to church, ask your church, because I guarantee you they have something going on. Or even if it's not your church, if it's a church in your neighborhood, go there. And I think, honestly, especially if you're looking to obtain a degree in humanities or person I study sociology, something like that, and you want to get into that type of program, you're getting some more volunteer hours, because the main thing that you're studying and the main thing that you're doing is geared toward helping people, or that type of thing. So especially if you're studying humanities, or whether it be social work, sociology, political science, or anything like that, find opportunities near you that correlate to what it is, like the degree you're looking for. And they can be, you can really just Google it, and it'll help you find it, or even make your own opportunities sometimes. Sometimes you don't have to, say the church is doing this. You can hold your own community service event and you can put that on your application. I don't know why people don't. It's just do it. Basically, is what I'm trying to say. Don't let anything hold you back. If you want to volunteer, volunteer. If you want to make something happen, sometimes you have to make things happen for yourself. And even if that means going to your local food bank, asking how you can partner with them, because that's something I've done, and see, where I can do this, or raising money on your own in order to help XYZ, you can do that. So make opportunities for yourself, but definitely I say they do help you as far as the admissions process.
One thing that I would recommend is that, so while having a lot of extracurricular activities will help you in your acceptance process, it may not help you get a lot of money. For example, like myself, I was very involved in a lot of things in the community and in my high school. I had a 3.2 GPA, but my ACT was not the best. Really, the things that are going to get you money from these schools is your ACT and your GPA, mainly that ACT. Like at TSU, if you don't even have a 22, don't ask financial aid for no money. Don't ask for no money. You ain't gonna get it. Like my GPA was fine, but that ACT really matters when it comes to getting money. If you're looking to diversify your application and get more involvement, one thing I recommend, like the YMCA, there's so many different volunteer opportunities in Columbus. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. You can go to the St. Stephen's, you can go to the Ronald McDonald House. I know I can sometimes help out with volunteers. Columbus City Schools are always doing something where they need volunteers. So literally you can just find places to volunteer. It ain't nothing but a Google search. Also, I know that we also like the Divine Nine, they have youth groups. So there's Acadets, there's Delta Gyms, there's all of them, everybody, they got their own little youth groups. So you can participate in one of those. They start at the beginning of the year and they have community service opportunities, career development opportunities, leadership development opportunities that are really helpful you can use when you're applying to colleges. So I would say try to get in touch with that. Just Google any volunteer opportunities in Columbus to diversify your application a little bit more. And I would say focus more on GPA and test scores than actual involvement, because while applications are looking for that, that's good to get admitted, but you need money. So those are some things that I would definitely recommend.
I would say,
my bad. You
go ahead. Okay. I would agree with Janae. I know that personally, I applied for a lot of service-based scholarships. So like I said, that at A&T and at Central, they didn't necessarily look for my community service, but when I was applying for scholarships, community service was very important. But what I did was I could have been involved in a lot of different things in Columbus. But what I did was I picked 3 organizations to be committed to so that I could do as much service as possible through those. Instead of doing 5 hours here, 5 hours there, 2 hours here, 3 hours there, I did 15 hours plus here, 15 hours plus there, 15 hours plus in another place. And that looks better because it shows that you're committed to something. If you're looking for opportunities, ask people like us. I know that me and Britt were in a program with Miss Susie Shipley Norwood, and we were involved in our community called Franklin County Youth Council when we were in high school. You can ask this organization in itself, I'm sure has opportunities for you guys to do volunteer and extracurricular activities. Columbus is actually, research shows that Columbus has resources for every single student in Columbus, Ohio. It's just that they don't have the students reaching out to them or schools reaching out to them. Columbus literally has enough resources for every student to be in a program to have extracurricular services, but they don't have the students reaching out to people, or they don't have the connections that they need so that you can do that. Go to your home school. I went to Columbus Alternative High School, but I wanted to play sports. Columbus Alternative High School doesn't have sports. So I went to Lyndon McKinley, played sports, and was involved in different organizations at Lyndon, also at CAUSE, so that I could have a well-rounded resume when I was going into doing scholarships and stuff.
So I can kind of speak on this as well. I don't necessarily think I did a whole bunch of extracurricular and volunteer work in high school. I probably have a whole page of everything I did in high school. I think it kind of benefited with me when it comes to the admission process, because like my ACT score, I had an 18 on my ACT score, so like it wasn't good. So like extracurricular kind of backed it up a little bit, like okay, her ACT score, but she did do all this, and she'll probably be a good candidate for school. So they might make an exception there, but it's kind of rare. Like you can't get accepted, but it's really like scholarships and stuff. Like for scholarship wise, like you gotta have the ACT score. But I definitely feel like my volunteer work extracurricular activities did play an important role when it came to scholarships, because there was a lot of scholarships that I actually did. There's a lot of scholarships that I got because I did all these extracurricular activities and volunteer work. For students to go to school who don't have like many activities, especially for free, I went to an inner city school, and, you know, they all think we're poor and that we need help and all that. So everything was free to us. So I don't know, like if you're like from like a suburban school or like a predominantly white school, I would definitely say to reach out. I mean, I don't know, I can't really give you advice because I went to predominantly Black schools my whole entire life. So I really can't give advice if you go to another school outside of that. But I would definitely say reach out to like maybe your principal, even like your school board or things of that nature. So
thank you to our panelists, and thank you all, those of you who are watching live on our YouTube and those of you who have joined our meeting today. We had a great turnout. Thank you all for attending the Scholar Network's Black History Month virtual celebration, our HBCU Roundtable. This concludes our programming today. Please monitor your email. We will be sending further communications to you with an exit survey. We would really appreciate it if you would be responsive. It would help us with applying to grants, as well as how to improve our programming in the future. For our panelists, if you all could stay on just a second longer, we're going to take a group picture to thank you all on the social medias. If you don't follow us on social media already, please do. We're on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. You could type in the Scholar Network, or you could, I'm gonna drop it in the chat. Okay. I put our social media handle in the chat, and you all can find us there. We also have a YouTube that's streaming this live. Thank you all so much for coming. So yeah, thank you. Stay on just a little longer for our group picture.
For any of the attendees that may want like any information or anything like that, like further information, I'm gonna drop my email in the chat. You guys can just email me with any questions. I'm not sure if anybody else is comfortable. I'm comfortable with that.
Oh yeah, if you all would like to drop your information in the chat and you can follow up with them at any time, that's definitely allowed.
Y'all, you're breaking up a lot. We didn't hear any of that, or I didn't hear any.
y'all didn't hear anything at all.
You're breaking up a little. But yeah, we're ready to take those group pictures. So you all could smile, pose, be pretty, or whatever. Okay. 3, 2. Hold on. Let me get the thing. I didn't even have the thing open. All right. 3, 2, 1. Great. Thank you all so much for coming. We hope to see you all at our future events. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.